they have to say. It's probably very stupid. Probably also dishonest.
I was seeing clips being shared, and I was like, "These aren't real, are they?"
Yeah.
Like, when I saw the Trump's dick, I was like, "Wait a minute!"
I thought somebody made that online.
I thought it was like AI.
Okay, so they literally can't comprehend that South Park has never been 100% on their side. Yeah, that's the thing. This is exactly what the brilliance of Cartman's arc in this episode, and I assume the rest of the season is going to be, because culture has changed. Woke is dead.
I think I know what's happening. I think woke is dead.
Cartman legitimately cries because he doesn't know what makes him special anymore. And I want fucking Gary, Ryan Kennel, Az, Shad, Disparu, Mahler, Callum, Quarter Black Garrett, every one of these motherfuckers, you need to understand this. This is you. You are Cartman.
Yeah.
What made you special it's no longer special. You made it mainstream. Congratulations, you stupid fucks. This is the world you brought. You're no longer anything to anybody, and that's why your fucking numbers are floundering. You know I'm right. You look at your fucking metrics and you see it. That's what's fucking happening to you. You did this to yourself because you have nothing else to make you fucking special. You have no talent. You have no fucking personality. All you have is being fucking edgelords, goddamn pieces of shit. And I'll call you a fat and a retard all fucking day long because I don't fucking care. I know my fucking audience knows who I am and what I fucking believe in. It doesn't make me edgy. You think it's fucking edgy to fucking call yourself Quarter Black Garrett, you know? I don't fucking give a shit. You're all fucking sinking and you're going to be forgotten before too long. You're going to lose your fucking jobs with your fucking right-wing organizations. Chrissy Mayer, who literally can only fucking make jokes about her vagina, just like Cartman made fun of years ago. Fucking Disparu, who the fuck are you? Your fucking numbers are failing too. You're all going to be forgotten one day. I'm not saying I'm fucking more popular than you than I'm ever going to be or anything like that. I'm just saying you're going to be forgotten. You're already being forgotten. You stupid fucking grifting pieces of shit.
I did love the beginning when Cartman's they canceled NPR. That's the funniest shit ever.
That's why the
liberals whine about stuff.
The comments line is funny as fuck.
That's where they like gay Mexican rappers are sad that Palestinian women are getting stoned. It's the funniest shit ever. You know, it's like,
You know why they got stoned?
They're agreeing with fucking Cartman at the beginning, who's laughing about people being stoned to death for being.
They don't understand that they are the joke here in this bit that they're talking about. It's making fun of them.
These are these empty husks of human beings, man. They're fucking nothing. It's fucking going to be hilarious watching you guys cope with this fucking show and what's happening with your fucking president, the pedophile, the virtually fucking certain pedophile at this point. He's all over the fucking Epstein files. You didn't expect that, did you fucking dumb fucks? You motherfuckers had nothing. You're a fucking failed comic book creator, failed comic book fucking store owner, twice over from what I can tell based on your fucking records. You were a fucking former meth addict and fucking dealer who got caught and spent 4 years in prison. You're a guy who can't even fucking sustain his own channel, so he has to suck off the asshole of Geeks and Gamers. Talking about Ryan there. There's Az, who can't sustain his own fucking channel, so he has to suck off Eric July, who can't sustain his own fucking channel either. You got Shad, who's fucking constantly whining about how YouTube is fucking killing his channel. You know, you got, who the fuck is Ian? Who Comics Division? Who the fuck are you? Nobody knows. Quarter Black Garrett, you're just a fucking plant. You're a plant. You're a fucking Blaze Media plant. You fucking obvious fucking plant. Disparu, oh man, you think you're fucking funny. You're not. You fucking have the NHS over there. Do something about that. Fucking trash mouth, you piece of shit. Chrissy Mayer, you're too easy. And I mean that in any way that you want to take that.
Okay, good night, everyone.
All right, you assholes.
God damn, that guy needs a nappy or something. Jeez, he was rowdy. We need to get some chill vibes in here. What's up, Eric?
What's going on?
Hey man, how's it going?
Good today. How about you?
Pretty good.
Did you get
Pretty
your
good.
audio stuff sorted out? You sound good.
You tell me. Do I sound pretty good?
I mean, it sounds
Okay.
great, actually. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. It sounds
Yeah,
great.
I got a new preamp. Oh, and just a whole new PC.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, no, it sounds great. So
If it fucks up, then I will owe so many apologies to so many people who are just like, it sounds like a cable, dude. Because I haven't changed the cable out. It's the same cable.
okay. Well, right now, crystal clear. So
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of quick streams and haven't seen any, any problems so far. So that's
I actually saw, saw that rant of yours. I think did you upload it as a clip? I don't remember where I saw it. I saw it somewhere else.
I did.
But I was just like, oh yeah. I felt
sorry
it
for
in my soul.
the tactical slurs there, but I just was like,
No. I mean, you were very like, fuck these guys. I mean, they're laughing at people being stoned. Fuck them.
for being,
what I mean?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine that's like multi-layered fucking psychopathy, man.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they are so one of two things is going on there. Either they're too stupid to understand that they're the ones being made fun of, which is that is a possibility. The other is that they know they're being made fun of, but they're trying to flip it around into a win, which is
believe me, I've got
pathetic.
several we did like over an hour on that topic alone. That's just like the 5 minutes where I kind of went on a extended rant, but like we broke it down. Like they're sitting there. There's one part where Ryan Kennel is like, oh, guys, like, for any of you idiots that actually thought that South Park was like, yeah, sometimes they do. So you remember like when they did the Panderverse and some people were like, oh, they're showing those woke liberals and stuff. It's like, man, they were never 100% on our side or anything. So like any of the people that promoted that is like, and I was like, that was you motherfuckers, dude. And I fucking went and looked back at the clip where you weren't on there. It was just me and Bob and Turf where we covered that when it came out. And they're acting like it's the biggest win ever that this Panderverse thing happened, right?
Yeah,
and
I mean, no, they consider that a win. They consider that a win. Like, I don't know why they're trying to all of a sudden pretend that's not the case. We've got the receipts. The clips are available. Like, I mean, do they believe that their viewers are that stupid, or they need their egos stroked or their echo chambers echoed? I don't know, honestly.
They need it's. I mean, honestly, if there is a challenge to their content, I'll grant them this. It is both constantly being victimized while feeding their audience just enough wins to keep them from feeling like, we're always losing, guys. You know what I mean? So it's like this weird kind of fucking dichotomy where they're constantly losing and winning at the same time. And I mean, I guess that's the grift is what it is, but like that is some form of talent, I suppose, if I want to grant them that.
I think it's interesting that I've never, it's hard to be quote unquote a fan of South Park because they kind of just pick on everything. So it's really, you're just kind of observing whatever it is they're putting out at the moment. So I've never been like, what's up?
Whoa. I was not ready.
You're kind of observing whatever's going on with them at that moment. And just going, yeah, they got that right, or they got that wrong, or whatever, or you even acknowledge what it is. But the thing is that they now are no longer able to play victims, and so they become the target of counterculture, which they were counterculture. Now they're the target of counterculture because it's no longer cool because they're the ones in power, and they're having this struggle. You can see it within their own community of people who feel like they've accomplished everything and they're out. They're like, all right, we're good, we're gone, we got what we wanted, we're not going to support this anymore because there's no reason to do it. And then you have the people that they're trying to keep engaged. Like, when Gary was saying, well, it doesn't matter. They're still going to do this. They're still going to do that. And Critical Drinkers said the same thing. They're still going to do this. They're still going to do that. Ryan Canella said it. Jeremy said it. It really is like them trying to convince the remaining people that support them that it's not over. The fight is still happening, everyone. Yeah.
Bob, I don't know if you caught that. By the way, welcome to, if you guys aren't familiar, this is Bob from the channel Organized Chaos. He's around sometimes. But he's not audible, but he's around sometimes.
Sometimes I'm audible. It's nice. Sometimes guys, this is listen, I'm just guest starring here. This is Elam's show. So
man, I wish Gordy was that fucking chill. Gordy would let me do that for like a second, and then he would just, like, turn on me.
I I think he can sense when I'm live. Like there'll be times where I'm getting all set up and I go live, and the second I go live, he's like bounding on my lap. It's like, hey.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, he's focused on this section, this area over here. If I just kind of get right here, then he'll focus on me. I think that's what it is. That's what it was with Gordy whenever he was younger, and he just gave up now. He's given up on me loving him, I guess. Just during streams, he gets plenty of love, believe me. Yeah. Hey, really relax, guys. No, yeah, we're talking about the clip at the beginning. I don't know if you saw that or have seen that already.
I did not. I have seen the South Park episode. I have.
Well, so it's a clip where like me and Bob of the old ways, we're watching the reaction on Friday Night Tights last week to that South Park, and just them. By the way, and we go over this in the longer cut, which I need to get uploaded in some form. But like, the stream is like, of course, Friday Night Tights 4 hours long, right?
Yeah.
They spent over an hour on Superman versus Fantastic Four versus Jurassic Park Rebirth.
Of course.
12 minutes on South Park, and all of it is just like alternating, like, oh, that one part where Cartman was saying something extremely psychopathic was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't care. Gary's like, it's fine. They go after Trump, and then fucking 1 minute Mahler's like, he literally mentions the merger being like, oh, this is like literally a day before the merger or whatever, and he was right about that. And then a few minutes later, fucking Quarter Black Garrett's like, what are they even talking about? Like, they don't even have any good jokes about Trump. It's just all boring. Like, what? He's going to sue people or something? Like, what does that even, like, no, that's, because he's fucking suing people, you stupid piece of shit.
Yeah.
We've yet to see any of those.
South Park. I'm expecting.
We've yet to see any of the big ones actually end up in court. There's a lot of threats, but we've yet to see any of the big ones actually end up.
Well,
in
I mean,
court,
even that one with Paramount was pretty much, universally agreed to be like, pretty superfluous and not really worthwhile. But that wasn't the point. The point was to shut them down. It's
right. And they capitulated, and they set a standard for themselves. You know what I mean?
They did, but then like, I don't know how much. I can't imagine that they were doing some kind of sneaky strategy. We're like, yeah, we'll take Colbert off of the air in 10 months, but watch what happens when we put South Park on. I can't imagine they were doing that, but that is what happened.
And they're locked in with South Park. They've got they actually went to court over that, and they're locked in for like what is it, 50 episodes or something like that. So they've got to deal with them for 50 episodes doing whatever the fuck they want to do, which is going to be quite interesting.
A ton of money to get the streaming rights to South Park, and
my
understanding, it's really helped their numbers. So yeah.
Oh, I mean, this show is like, I mean, it's honestly that episode has become kind of a flashpoint. Like, if we make it through Trump 2.0 and we can actually start writing history based on actual events again, and like, get things. That episode is going to be in the history books as like a fucking flashpoint moment in presidential history. You know what I mean? Like, it will have to be, because it's such a, like, how he responds to it, and then the ongoing Epstein stuff, it's going to be all tied in there.
The Stephen Colbert stuff will probably be tied into history too.
That's exactly why. Yeah, that one definitely will. So that this being kind of the follow up of it, I think it just kind of is a shoe in. Yeah. But yeah, man, got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Critical Drinker, I guess maybe was he right? You guys, let's see what he said.
He's always right.
He said something that just kind of rings true, I think. We just find this download here. He said, because of this incident, this whole thing, they announced Star Trek Strange New Worlds, speaking of Paramount Plus, is going to be doing a puppet episode.
Right.
Pike looks great as a puppet. He looks great in general, but he looks great as a puppet.
The hair, the floofy hair
Guys,
is great.
I've been you guys know I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I talk about this stuff all the time. It's always been super serious. There's never been a comedy episode of Star Trek. So this is just, the fuck are they doing? I mean, it's always been this gritty, dark, adult sci-fi show. Like, so gritty.
Yeah. I mean, he's right. Look, Critical Drinker, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to Star Trek, especially.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. He's just right. Also,
I am sorry, counselor.
No, don't. No, Dana!
Gritty sci-fi. Right in the nipples.
You go down.
That is kind of freaky. I'll give it that.
That is kind of terrifying, yeah.
Y'all must be mistaken.
Y'all must be mistaken.
I mean, pretty much any holodeck episode has comedy in it.
Yeah.
Come cheer up, my lads, 'tis to glory we steer to find something.
That was Alien McCart, by the way. Alien.
I'm sorry, Q just like laying there in his little Outback gear.
Yeah. I
You are 6 years old.
Vamoose, you little varmint.
I am not a merry man.
Holodeck episode.
Yep.
I'm coming.
Not a holodeck episode. That's the infamous, I think, what is it? The ghost sex bottle? Ghost
Yeah,
sex
it is.
Candle or whatever. The
no,
candle
no,
one.
that is not that one. That is Night Terrors. Night Terrors is actually decent.
Oh,
The
you're
Troy
right.
stuff's
Yeah, yeah.
decent.
Night Terrors is
Yeah.
a different one.
The ghost sex one is
That's about the doctor.
that's really
You're
yeah.
right.
Oh my god.
What about this one though?
It is the way in which we propagate our species.
I'm sorry. Best Star Trek death ever.
So,
Oh, anything with Q is pretty much
Yeah.
comedy.
Yeah.
Remember how dark and gritty it was when like I want to say Picard, Rogue, Guinan, and I think Keiko got turned into kids. That was really dark and
Yeah.
gritty.
Yeah.
You know, the truth is that I believe.
You home again, Kathleen.
The explosive.
very well, Captain.
Who wants to counteract paradise, Jim boy?
You know, they talk about this, and I would absolutely argue before Lower Decks, the funniest Star Trek series is without doubt the original series.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
There is
yeah.
so much goofy shit in that one.
But the
that's
one that
great.
got the most
Mm.
criticism for being adult and dark and serious was Deep Space Nine. And a lot of people said that's the reason why they didn't like that one, because it was too serious, because it dealt with a lot of serious subject matter.
By the way, that one
except-
has a lot of great comedy episodes too.
Oh,
Like,
it
there are
does.
some great
episodes.
But I
Frankie
think that was
ones
one of
that
the
are
big
amazing.
criticisms I heard was that people didn't like it because it was too serious. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. I think it's one of the best Star Trek series as a whole, like from start to
Oh,
finish.
it's
but-
my all-time favorite.
There's
easily.
there's the season there's the episode, I think maybe a two-parter, I don't remember, maybe just one. I think in the final season where one of the, I don't know if it's a Wei Yun or one of those other guys, they fucking his type of alien, I forget what they're called. They kidnap Quark's
Florida.
mother.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
They-
a great.
Is
one.
that
I
the one
love
where she
that
has to be
one.
naked or something like that? I think she's naked
No.
because of the tradition.
No, it's
No,
a different
no, that.
But it is like a perfect balance of comedy and serious. Like it's genuinely a
Yeah.
great Ferengi episode because they're like fucking goofs, of course. And
I
they're,
forget
like,
what the name
fucking
of the
things up
episode is.
until they finally
yeah,
get their
it's the
shit together.
Magnificent
And
Ferengi. They have to
Yeah.
actually like they have to face the Dominion, but they figure out how to face them as Ferengi, and it's
Yeah.
fucking-
Right.
It's great.
It's
yeah.
that was man. Speaking of good writing, and a lot of it being on DS9, I guess we can dip into some SDCC news. Fucking Ronald D. Moore doing a God of War show
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's gonna be awesome.
on the Bezos platform. Looking forward to that. Somebody got a $2 super chat here, £2 or whatever, €2. Gritty like Man of Steel. Yeah, they want that, right?
Yeah. Superman's supposed to be pretty, right?
Yes. So, you know, I mean, look, I have a lot of clips here, guys. I could continue this fucking, this bit.
I mean, you can do it for every. You can do it for every series. You can do one of these for every
Drinker's
series.
so right.
I mean-
He's never been a serious sci-fi show. It's always been such a serious show for adults and stuff. But like, fuck him. He's a fucking liar. That's all.
Well, I mean, the
I
thing is,
mean-
what's to say this isn't going to be a serious episode? I mean, the thing could be that the humor is in the juxtaposition of the puppets, and
Possibly.
You know what I mean? We don't know. We have no idea.
I mean, it'd be one thing if this was the first time that even this series was doing something silly, but they've already done a musical, which they went after that one, of course, and they've done a crossover with Lower Decks, which was excellent, actually.
Yeah, I really like that one. The musical was, but the crossover with Lower Decks was excellent.
Yeah, and then some people fucking love puppets, man. Like right? Who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the serious Star Trek shows, like you already mentioned, Deep Space Nine has comedy episodes. They all have comedy episodes, I would still argue probably the funniest thing in Star Trek would probably be a supercut of some of William Shatner's performances, because that is, oh my god, sometimes when he overacts it is compy gold.
I also thought that these guys liked Strange New Worlds because it wasn't woke. Wasn't that their thing originally? Was that the show was a non-woke modern Star Trek show?
I think we all can tell that they are desperate for something to latch onto right now.
I
right?
mean,
like,
if we want to talk about dark Star Trek, I would actually argue probably the darkest ones with the least comedy would probably be Discovery and Picard.
Yes.
And I thought those shows were terrible and woke.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that Discovery specifically had a lot of, like, it got lighter as the show went on, but it started out very dark.
oh yeah, the first season of Discovery is grimdark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, what's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, everyone. Sorry, I didn't get the memo.
Oh, the hat brigade.
Yeah.
Well, you're on the team now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, what's funny about this is the times when Star Trek is goofy, obviously it's there. The times when it's serious is generally when it's tackling the sort of social issues that the critical drinker says shouldn't be in TV or film.
That's true.
True.
But also, here's the thing: it's Dick.
That was a super gritty episode. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's a gritty looking dick, that's for sure.
I think that's the one where Bones has the famous line, "I'm a doctor, Jim, not a bricklayer."
Kirk was given the mission to find the worst dildo ever, and he found it.
Look, the original series. This is an alien, non-humanoid alien from the planet. I think it was Alpha 177.
Oh,
yes, Enemy Within. Oh my god, that one features some of Kirk's greatest moments.
Is that the one where it's like, I am Captain Kirk?
Yes, it is.
But look, this is not anything like just a dog with a fucking shitty costume and a horn.
No,
that's not all what is happening here.
I mean, the original Star Trek was sort of designed to be like a stage play anyway. Yeah. So the campiness of it is just ingrained in the source of materials of Star Trek, you know?
And if anything, I will grant, I'm not granting critical drinker shit, but I will grant that there is a bit of a bit more of a step, I guess, in willingness to give good faith to what they're trying to do with the puppet thing, I'll say, because the Next Generation and even Deep Space Nine still had somewhat one foot in that stage show kind of production, right? And then as you get to more modern Trek, is when it becomes more cinematic, and it's like, there's
I mean, they just tried to raise the quality of the show to try to make it more of like a modern sci-fi series, the legacy of Star Trek. I mean, progressively Star Trek has gotten more and more polished over time in terms of the way it looks. Even if you don't like the storylines and stuff that we got in some of the more recent versions of it, definitely more polished.
Yeah. Remember when
that
Spock
dog
and
grown
Kirk
up?
were attacked by this thing?
It looks like the grown-up version of that dog.
Definitely not a dude in a
Everything
costume.
has a horn on its
Definitely
head.
Yeah. Put a horn on it.
Horns on the head. Like
No, I mean, do you guys know why the Klingons were the main antagonists in the original series?
No, the original before it was canceled series.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
They were chosen to be the main antagonist because of light makeup work.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Romulans
because they look different. Yeah, the original series they look different.
Yeah.
There's canonical reason for that though. They don't talk about it, but
Well, the funny thing is, there's been 3 different like looks for the Klingons over the years now because of the Discovery. So,
yeah. Let's see. So, by the way, thank you, Super Jones Bros, for the super chat. I'm not sure whose channel that goes to. We'll get to this super chat whenever we get to that topic.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that in advance, though. Yeah, there's tribbles, there's fucking dogs in costumes, there's guys in really crappy, makeup that doesn't look good in high res. There's all kinds of
the
shit.
Next Generation crew literally doing Robin Hood. There's Data in drag in the Old West. There's just so much comedy in Star Trek. It's ridiculous.
All right, fuck off, critical drinker. Jesus Christ.
I mean, when these guys get offended by Star Trek being comedy, it's like you guys are showing that you know nothing about Star Trek.
I got one more.
This is what I've noticed, though.
Yeah.
I'll play this way talk. This is a little bit of Three Stooges combined with some Star Trek.
Oh God.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Here's what I've noticed though. They will say these things. They're not appealing to Star Trek fans when they say that. They're appealing to people who have a.
I'm sorry, I forgot about the sound effects, and I'm trying to go ahead and talk, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry. Go ahead. Please say that again. I will not play.
Mhm.
You're
Oh
right.
yeah, that text it isn't aimed at Star Trek fans because Star Trek fans know that
Yeah.
it's sometimes goofy, sometimes takes on serious political world issues, and
Sometimes it does both. Sometimes.
Thinking about
Yeah.
it, they're like nothing that they really say is meant to resonate with folks like us, or you watching generally. Like it's aimed at people who have some vague awareness of, or maybe at one point in their lives they watched the original series and the Next Generation and they stopped watching it because that was for little, for weirdos or whatever, and they didn't want to be weird in their minds. Or comic books, same thing. We've talked about with Eric July and how his knowledge of comics seems to exist like in this specific window of time in the early mid 90s. You know what I mean?
That
So
definitely doesn't extend to Amazing Fantasy 15.
yeah, so that's way before actually.
Yeah.
Eric, if you're listening, it's but yeah, it is designed to basically ensnare people who have some vague awareness or even don't and just like want to think that they do. I feel like I get a lot of that in the kind of comments that I get sometimes. Yeah, it's pretty lame.
yeah, this sort of vague gesturing to a past that never existed.
Yep,
but was definitely better than it is now.
Definitely
true.
So yeah, what else we got? There's the Sydney Sweeney stuff, which I don't really feel like is that big a deal. But there's certainly people making a big deal out of it, trying to anyway. I don't think that if anybody thinks that she's like a right winger who's fucking signed on, like, yeah, let's do this eugenics fucking ad campaign. Maybe you're kind of silly and you should get off the internet.
I think it's just bad wordplay in a campaign that shouldn't matter and would disappear overnight if nobody said anything about it. This, like, covering the stuff that we cover, I can look at something and be like, yeah, that's not even worth talking about. Like, in the sense that there's no point in complaining about it. Yeah, we can certainly talk about the controversy, but I don't really see.
Well, I think worth talking about is that American Eagle probably certainly did do this, knowing that it would. I mean, their
absolutely
spokesperson says it.
Do I think that she necessarily like went in with that intention? No, I don't think that was what the situation was.
The best response to it I've seen is that basically, that you can say it's either ignorance or laziness, or that it was intentional. All three of these aren't very good,
right?
And that they could have avoided if they wanted to, which they clearly didn't. They wanted this. That they could, they could still do. Not to say you can't say, oh, she's got good genes, but maybe have other people of other colors also in the genes as well. Other
maybe this is a campaign that's going to go over time, and we are going to see other people in the campaign. We don't know. That's the thing is I don't really know what this is or what it's going to lead to. I'm not the biggest Sydney Sweeney fan. I mean, she's done questionable stuff over time, but she's certainly never given me the impression that she's like diehard Trump forever, Trump 2028 type stuff. Like I never got that impression.
No.
From her. So,
real quick, I do want to take a look at our buddy Benny Johnsonov over here.
He's getting a lot of subscribers, isn't he?
Super successful, man. Like, congratulations. He's gotten like 3 million subs in the last few months, which is almost unheard of. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's super impressive about is that he's gaining these subs and having no gain in views. Like,
it's
wow,
almost unheard of. Like,
well done.
A cynical man. If I was a cynical man, I'd say that this is an inorganic campaign using bots and paid for subscribers. But I'm not saying that because I'm not a cynical man. Yeah, I am saying it. David Pakman wrote a really good thing about it here. It's the most suspicious thing I've ever seen on YouTube. Been publishing as from David Pakman. He's publishing political content on YouTube for a long time. One of the tried and true realities of publishing is for many years you come to realize there are inevitabilities. These include that video performance can be unpredictable. As you publish political content, roughly half your audience will hate you and your content. And relevant for us today, the new subscribers follow view numbers extremely closely. As someone, we got a guy here who's actually seen a little boost lately. Eric, do you feel like that's pretty true? Commensurate views to subs?
Oh yeah, 100%. like my ratio subs to views is like 104% right now. So yeah, I mean it's definitely something. It correlates for sure.
Jeez, the last time I throw it to you to brag, Christ. I'm just...
And real quick,
Been doing I've been putting in the work.
I want to address a comment and not highlight it. Maybe try listening to what we say before you type stuff in. You
yeah, I know. It's like I saw that and I'm like, why? What? It's almost like you're hearing what you want to hear.
All right, Tony.
Like, literally, we said the opposite of that.
Yes,
Tony, pay attention, buddy. Get your fucking, get whatever fucking shit you plug your ears with, so you don't hear.
You're all busy
in context.
get mad at us, and you're not even listening to what we say.
It literally was like, it's probably not that, which is what I said.
Tony shows up to be like, "Oh yeah, the opposite thing that you just said is what I'm saying you said." Well, how about that?
You guys seriously think they're racist propaganda? No, that's why we said it wasn't.
It's like the Inception shit where like you were covering me and Eric covered you,
God,
but like you never covered what I actually said, so you don't know the actual fucking arguments. You know.
And by the way, man, I am feeling kind of insulted. Like I haven't made one of those thumbnails that you've been doing of Bob and Eric. I haven't seen myself in one of those. What's going on?
Yeah, I know what's happening. You feel left out a little bit.
Feel a little hurt. Anyway, so if you look here, you can see Benny Johnson's just completely organic jump in subscribers during 1 quarter of during Q2 here. Yeah, so
it's hard work to get those subs without getting any views. Really hard.
I mean, look, I wouldn't. I mean, it would be suspicious regardless. But like, the guy is known to have taken money from Russian interest, right? Whether or not he knew he did it or not. It's unclear. There was one person that was not explicitly named that did seem to know that they were getting money from where they were getting money from. Maybe that was him. Maybe
there's the whole Tim Pool snafu about this and everything. So yeah,
I mean, these guys were like, he was one of those guys literally getting like hundreds of thousands of dollars to get videos that maybe got 10,000 views. There was nowhere near the money that they were making. Like, not in questions. Sure.
Yeah.
You don't jump in subscribers like this if you're not if there's no viral videos to go along with it. It just doesn't make any sense. Nobody's channel grows that way.
I'm just getting rid of him. I don't like he's kind of just too stupid. I mean, look, speaking of eugenics, man, I'm not for it, but then something like this pops up and I'm like, I don't know, maybe. No, sorry. Alpha Eagle, you make a strong case for eugenics. There you go. Sorry. Yeah. So anyways, so yeah, let's look at this. This is what a average channel growth looks like. Like typical channel growth, like almost universally it's gonna follow some trend like this, right? You got subs and views, right? This is Benny Johnson's channel right here.
Yeah,
right.
Views
are down, but subs are up.
His views are tanking, but like his subs are up. What the
yeah.
You have to think that means that people are just showing up to subscribe for no goddamn reason. And then
let me sub to this channel that I'm not watching any videos on. Yeah.
They're just going to his homepage going, I like the look of this. Subscribe.
The weird thing is as well, it's not even as if they're watching a video and then subscribing based on that video. They're going straight to his channel without watching any videos.
Right.
Apparently, they're not even watching the video that auto plays when you go to a person's channel.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not real. This is all paid for, or at least astroturfed or inflated or whatever you want to call it.
Here's another comparison. It just shows it's not just about David being like, oh look, he's got more subs than me. Here's Midas Touch, the fastest growing independent progressive YouTube channel. This is their sub growth and their view growth. Which that actually tracks because somebody might have watched videos here and then subscribed, and then as they've subscribed, they started watching more videos. So it kind of makes sense that it would maybe follow a little bit, and not be directly in line. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. If you're subscribed, you're going to see more videos and watch more videos.
I mean, I've already done the math on some of the Chud channels we follow. Their views are down. Even the ones that
you're coming in here fucking using slurs. Get the fuck out of here. I don't think Eric owned anybody like that.
I don't even know what that means. Getting Russian money? What are you even talking about?
And you had I don't even want to say that word.
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, you do know there's actual evidence that they were getting Russian money, right?
Yeah, I think he's trying to say spike, but he's illiterate. I think that's what's happening.
I know. I was just being a dick.
Yeah. he doesn't know.
He's
He had to sound out
illiterate.
Spike. He had to sound it out, and he still
illiterate.
got that wrong.
Yeah,
He's
he's
still
illiterate and just knows slurs, so he just spits out a slur to fill in the word he doesn't know.
Yeah, his autocorrect filled in the word.
Oh no!
His autofill. He's got his words programmed into his computer. He's
Just
like, well, I
be
guess
glad
that's
he
right.
didn't think we were doing any nagging.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
right. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. Like he had to sound it out, couldn't even get it right. That's fucking sad, Tony.
So, literally, like, this is another example of what we all know, that these people's ideas are not popular. They have to fucking shoehorn them in via inorganic engagement, bot farming, fucking shit like Jubilee, which I'm.
But the reason why
convinced
it's so weird is it's almost impossible to bot views on YouTube anymore, the way they do things. But you can bot channel growth. So like you can do that because subs count as a singular thing. Views are calculated through YouTube's algorithm, and they know if a view is real or not. Or
you would literally have to have multiple screens playing the thing with like some bot, like literally making videos.
And then you'd have to use a completely different connection to do it again to make that view count. It's almost impossible for that to happen. So.
But, we don't have any evidence that he's getting money from Russia here on this point. But like, this is a guy who literally was framing what was it? I'm trying to remember the details of it. It was the bombing in Ukraine, but he was trying to say that it was definitely like Israel or something like that did it. Some shit like I don't remember, but it was fucking, obviously it was based on absolutely nothing. It was absurd propaganda, which is what that guy does. I've heard many times now, I've heard him referred to as is basically a closeted gay guy that failed in Hollywood. Not to say that that's
Benny. Yeah.
But who he's good friends with? Content pals with Gary, with
yeah.
All these guys. Remember they were cross promoting him back and forth. They were on his channels. Anytime that they were attacked by Disney fans, as in like someone made a video criticizing him. They were on his channel. He was on their channel. He was right there defending him. Which just kind of sussy. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Benny Johnson is going around on streams with like David Pakman and other more leftist media debate guys and getting crushed. Like there's clips of him getting crushed because he doesn't really know. He's got talking. See, that's the thing is the guys that they're debating are actually invested in the stuff they're looking up, the information they have, and making sure they get it right. Those guys have talking points, and the minute their talking points are challenged, they have no way to like shift around or come up with a proper response. They can only repeat the same stuff that they've been saying. So you get them on an interview, and that's what happens. It happened with Critical Drinker Nerdrotic on Piers Morgan when they got confronted.
Is this true? So apparently I'm getting it from two different people now that Benny Johnson seems to get gay cruise ads on his computer a lot.
I think he's one of those ones that fell for the why does Facebook keep showing me all this gay advertising content?
Do you know who else did? Alpha Eagle.
That's true.
That was one of the first things I ever heard from him. He was like, "Why does Facebook keep showing me this gay stuff?" I was like, "I don't know."
So here's a little thing: if you go around and you comment on gay stuff, they're going to show you gay stuff. The best way to not have gay stuff in your feed is to ignore it.
Yep. Oh, they're trying to force feed me this. No, you're kind of backdooring it yourself.
Stop going in and calling trans people the wrong gender, and maybe you stop seeing ads.
Right, fucking douchebag. God damn. All right. So I hate to do this because this guy seems like generally a force for good. I don't know if you guys have seen his channel. It's kind of doing pretty well. His channel is called I Do Know Nothing. That's what it is. He makes very quick.
Yeah,
got a mask. He wears like a mask and sunglasses. Comments a lot on Marvel and stuff like that. But he makes very quick videos, generally dispelling chud rumors and stuff like that, and not directly necessarily, but he will dispel them by mentioning that this is what some people are saying, and then he'll give context and stuff. I think he's he's fucking up here, and this is not to call him out as a chud or a shitty guy or anything like that. He's pushing for 1 million subs right now, and I think maybe that is what the cause of this is. But it's an opportunity to, do a little media literacy check for just everybody in general, because I see how this might have happened. I'm not this is not shitting on anybody or trying to start beef or anything, but
He says Captain America 4 underperformed at the box office because it was the first without Chris Evans. Okay, usually with these kinds of statements, I would call absolute horseradish. These corporate statements I always find more foolish than people who buy gems for Clash Royale. But this I kind of get, because for the longest time, I always thought that good Marvel movies would be enough to generate a lot of box office V-Bucks. But ever since Thunderbolts came out and underperformed, that game theory has disappeared into the wind like a fart. And that's important because I can't say that Captain America underperformed because it was a bad movie. It underperformed purely because people were just not interested in seeing it. So the question becomes, how do you get people interested in this new Anthony Mackie Captain America? Well, in my opinion, and this may sound obvious, but Avengers Doomsday has to do a lot of work to make Sam a really exciting and likable character. Like, I mean Mr. Terrific levels of likable.
So, on that point, just right there, that's bullshit. Sam has been in several movies becoming a likable character from the very first fucking moments he was on screen. In my opinion. Winter Soldier, he's fucking great. Every appearance, essentially.
I mean, also explain what makes him unlikable. That's a statement. Like, what makes him an unlikable character? Is it because he's wearing the suit that a white guy wore? I mean, is that the metric? Just he put on the suit and now he's unlikable?
I mean, I will say that in Brave New World, they didn't utilize some of his more charming traits. I feel like as much as they could have. You know what I'm saying? Like I would say they tried to. So if I were giving a real criticism of where I think they missed the mark with Sam as Captain America, it's that and this is sort of piggybacking off of what you said, is that what made people like Sam was Sam's charisma and personality. I think that was what made him fun as Falcon. And since they put him in the role of Captain America, they've tried to make him a bit more serious. And I think there is a level of like gravity to being Captain America, but I think in the reality of that versus how it plays out on screen is something that I think is a fair criticism, but that doesn't mean he's unlikable. I think it's just they tried to shift his personality into a little bit more serious, and he probably shouldn't have done that. So, I mean, let's see. So, yes, it made more than the first Captain America movie, which I think speaks to the framing being everything here, because Chris Evans was not, okay, let's go back to the source of this being an alleged quote from, or as far as I can tell, it is a quote from Kevin Feige, who said, in response to, this is at some round table that I can't find a video of, but what's his name? Weintraub from Collider was there. And he reported that when discussing, the problems with Brave New World, Kevin Feige is quoted as saying, among many other things,
right,
that this was the first one without Chris Evans.
Right.
That's being taken by literally Collider, but not Weintraub himself, but some other writer at Collider has written an article that says, Kevin Feige says point blank that the reason it failed is because it was the first one without Chris Evans. Right? That's the headline. And that's what it ran with here. And that's what I want to address with this, guys, because if you look at what was actually said in that very article, let's see. If it takes a second, you kind of have to do a little bit of thinking, but like, look, Brave New World was supposed to launch the MCU's next phase of grounded, politically charged storytelling. Instead, it became one of the studio's biggest misfires. Despite a great cast that included Mackie, blah, blah, stumbled to a 46% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and earned just $415 million at the box office. Now Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige is offering a blunt assessment of what went wrong. The movie didn't have Chris Evans. That's how it's framed.
Right.
It was the first one without Chris. Now, if we could find this roundtable, I'd put money on it not being just him just saying, well, it was the first one without Chris Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, there is context that you could add to that would make way more sense. Like essentially saying, this is kind of it's not kind of, it is. It's a soft reboot of the character. It's a new iteration of the character, might have to find new audience.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, it's a rebuilding of Captain America in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're saying with the reboot situation. I also want to point out on the video we were watching, and I kind of hone in on this stuff or whatever. Why are we comparing Sam Wilson to Mr. Terrific?
I think a good faith interpretation is that's him making sure people know he's not being racist.
But it also comes off racist, though.
It does.
You know what I mean? Because
it can come off that way. Sure.
Mr. Terrific and Sam are the only thing they share in common is they're both black guys.
True.
So
yeah, I mean, like I said, this guy's got a massive platform. Considering he literally puts out like minute-long videos most of the time. He's just like talking at this, and most of them I've found very little to disagree with, other than maybe just like he's got kind of a weird, like a not any kind of chuddy kind of take, but just kind of like, oh, I didn't see it that way kind of thing. But like generally, I think he's a force for, you know, positive fandom and positive, like people being receptive to things instead of just shitting on it before it comes out and whatnot. But yeah, this is where I was like, ah, man, bad look.
I think this comes down to people who don't know how to read articles as well, because it's not a skill that people know.
That's a big problem. Yeah.
If you read the article, the only words that are Feige's there are what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 words. Those 7 words. This entire article is creating a narrative based on those 7 words, which could have come in the middle, beginning, or end of a sentence that said something completely different. He could have been just describing what the film was.
Yeah,
he could have been. So he could. I mean, that could be a list of 9, 10 different things that are very true. Like, you know, the reshoots, the fucking, you know, the where is it? There was something about how it. I was not aware of some of the stuff that they had changed until I read this, to be honest.
There's a lot. They changed a lot of the movie. The third act was redone.
Tim Blake Nelson's leader was a lot more heavily featured. Centered a climactic battle involving Isaiah Bradley and Sabra.
And the Serpent Society,
went through major last-minute changes. Entire scenes were cut. Esposito's Sidewinder replaced the Serpent Society as the main threat. Even the film's finale was restructured, reportedly removing key characters from the action. And the end result was a movie that felt cobbled together instead of confident, with CGI mess of a final fight between Sam Wilson and the Red Hulk.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought the final fight was all right, but I will say the movie, it felt like a great movie that they edited down to just being entertaining enough.
Because I think the initial plan was that Harrison Ford's character wasn't going to survive. They were going to kill him off, and there was a funeral, and the Serpent Society was going to show up, and there was this big conspiracy with the leader, and that was the third act. It was this big battle with like the Serpent Society and Isaiah and you know, Sam and some of the other supporting characters. And they decided to go with star power. They thought that Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk would bring in more people to the theater. So they wanted to have this big Red Hulk character to advertise the movie with. And that's what they went with. So I think putting it on Chris Evans is kind of I think that's a deflection of what happened, is that using the Red Hulk and thinking Harrison Ford was going to bring people in was probably the wrong thing to do.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually suggest that if this is something that kind of frustrates you, what I'm going to do personally is either reach out on Blue Sky if he's on there or whatever. Maybe I'll just find his email if I can and reach out to Weintraub, and because I mean, I've been following that dude for a while. I don't trust Collider as an organization, but I trust Weintraub generally as like not being a bad faith guy. And just being like, hey man, are you realizing that by phrasing just this way from this thing that you apparently were part of that nobody else can see the full context of, that it's being taken and run with in this way? And would you please, you know, maybe clarify what was said, more context, something like that, because, you know, this ain't a good look. I literally, there's a saltier than crate post of somebody like, is Kevin Feige catering to chuds now? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I would say, I do think it's wild that this year we got a Superman movie that was way more political than a Captain America movie this year. That was in my opinion.
That was Variety. Collider's more of like a secondhand source than Variety, I believe. Collider's more of like the fan-sided, you know, of the entertainment industry. Like they get access to stuff, you know, for fan more fan interest than they are like the business end of it, like Variety, right? Yeah. So, I mean, just by the way, my take on Strange New World, Brave New World, is that it was all right.
Yeah.
You know, definitely.
I mean, it was. I think it was the weakest of the 4 superhero movies we got this year.
Sure,
in my opinion.
Easily. I think we've done really well in superhero movies this year, and Brave New World is not one of them.
Being,
Actually,
well, I mean,
I wonder
the
if they-
worst one, it's still not like an atrocious movie.
No,
or something.
not
It's
at all.
just not very
No.
exciting, not very compelling, but like
I enjoyed it in the theater, but I've had no desire to revisit.
There's also a
it.
theory that the third act heavily involved Sabra as one of the main characters, and because of that political social issue with her, they had to change the final act because of that as well. So there were other things that caused that issue for them.
So somebody had asked me,
So, yeah.
Bob of the Old Ways, he's not able to join us on these shows typically because he has a real job. But like he had asked me in Discord, like, what does this hyperlink go to that says the movie didn't have Chris Evans? And I was like, that's a good question. What does that go to? It goes to another Collider article that just fucking ball washes the Avengers Assemble scene from Endgame. Which, you know, look, I'll ball watch it too, but like it's a really good scene. But it's basically like this is why it didn't live up to Chris Evans, because Chris Evans rad and you know, Anthony Mackie not or something.
I mean, I wish we could do a super cut of people saying there's no stakes in Marvel, because this is what stakes does. Like when you have a situation where characters die and they go away, you have to have people to fill in that space, or something comes in to pick up the slack, or whatever you want to call it. So they want stakes, but they want characters to live forever too. You know what I mean? Like they want Chris Evans Captain America to be the only Captain America, but in order to raise the stakes, you have to do something big. This is one of the other complaints about Secret Invasion, which I'm not going to defend that series. Right? Not going to defend that series. But Secret Invasion definitely introduced stakes that are huge implications of a character, you know, in that scenario. And it does ripple through the entire Marvel universe. But the problem is people don't really want that. They think they want that, but they don't want that. When they say they want stakes, that is just a red herring to complain about other stuff at this point.
I mean, you know, it was blocked from a certain person, but somebody was asking, is there any Marvel things we hate? And I was going to say, pretty much any Fantastic Four movie before the recent one. But if you want MCU, the final episode of Secret Invasion, fucking hated it.
I was going to answer that exact same way. I don't remember the name of the person that said that. Thanks for your question. I hope we never see you again. But
yeah,
like I don't waste. I mean, this kind of seems maybe silly to answer, but I try not to waste hatred. I know that the person asking is very free with their hate. Very, very like they love just hating people. They love hating people. But
I think the person's name was Beta Soy Boy, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Beta little birdie. Yeah, and I don't generally try to extend hate to art unless it's something that is hateful. I guess.
Yeah,
you
true.
know, something that's going out of its way to be fucking, you know, shitty. You know, anything from Daily Wire kind of thing, right? And even still, I don't even hate that. It's just like fucking gross.
But you know what I think is funny is a lot of times we get criticized for only seeing that the chuds hate stuff, and they always go, no, they like stuff too, you just have to watch their content. That's what they tell us. But then they have no problem coming in and saying that all we do is XYZ without watching any of our content outside of that as well. So they're accusing us of doing the same thing that they're actually doing.
If you want to know what MCU movies and movie projects I just didn't like very much, that would be let's see, Thor: The Dark World, obviously. You know, it's just kind of, but I mean, still, I've always said that, like, even amongst other sci-fi fantasy action movies that came out within the same few years of that one, it's not like poorly constructed. It's not just like completely boring. It's just only in comparison. You kind of have to compare it to the other MCU, and that's stuff because it's so good that then whenever one that comes out that's just kind of meh, you know.
I mean, if you want to watch my podcast, I gave negative reviews to Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I gave negative review to the Marvels.
Racist.
Listen, these are not things I hate. I could definitely point out plenty of positives in all these things.
So Black Panther and the Marvel, racist and sexist, Bob.
True.
No,
everybody's calling me those things. Oh wait, they don't, because I actually had critiques of those things.
We're going to get them off all these channels.
Saying about stakes. This is exactly what you were saying about stakes, Eric. In the films, people don't want the stakes raised because that leads to consequences. So to use the kind of hyperbole of hate and worst thing ever, disastrous. If you use those words, you've got nowhere else to go then. So everything, you have to hate everything that comes out. There's no
here's the thing. If the Marvel made as many movies that so like the Chuds seem to hate so many of them, if they were making, any company was making movies that I hated as much as they seem to, I would stop watching them.
Yeah, I would have already engaged from it. There's a lot of stuff I don't like, and guess what? I don't engage in it.
After like 3 at most, I would be like, if I hate really genuinely, just like, oh, these are fucking terrible, it's all shit, bad writing or whatever, I'd be like, I'm just not going to waste my time on it anymore.
A good example for me is the Sony, the spinoff Venomverse stuff or whatever. After Morbius, I had no interest in watching any of those other things. And I made I didn't rush out to be first at the box office to see them. I didn't buy tickets early. I got around to them when I got around to them. I didn't even really make videos about them. I could have made constant negative videos about all of those spinoff Sony movies, and I just didn't because it's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah,
I mean,
if one of us, if somebody started a channel where it was, this is everything that's wrong with Keeping Up with the Kardashians,
right?
It was a very popular show, but it was also very heavily disliked. And every week you made a video about the current episode on everything that was wrong with it, people would think you were insane.
Yeah, one dimensional is my trigger word.
And Beta Soy Boy here saying, I don't hate anyone. Art isn't people, so it's okay to hate art. I want to stress, good art almost requires the artist to bear a bit of their soul.
And I want to stress that this is somebody who has said that he wants to shoot immigrants. I would say that, you kind of have to hate somebody to want to shoot them.
Yeah. But also, we're not even talking about like them. I don't care if someone hates a movie. I've said this over and over again. Your individual opinion about something is fine. When you make content that misrepresents the stuff that you don't like in order to try and convince other people to dislike it, that is when you're creating a narrative, and that is toxic to the fandom. That's not the same thing as just holding an opinion that you don't like something.
I don't like Iron Man 2 very much in hindsight. I don't go back. I mean, I haven't. So actually, it's easy for me to think about because I'm actually going through starting the MC with my son right now, and I wasn't excited about Iron Man 2. I am looking forward to Iron Man 3 again, and then Thor: The Dark World. Although I would say that Thor: The Dark World overall is a better constructed film than Thor: Love and Thunder. Although there are scenes in Love and Thunder that are fucking phenomenal. It's just in kind of a sloppily put together movie.
I will say Jane Foster, I think, is really well handled in Love and Thunder.
Yeah. I just wish we got more of her. That's that's my favorite part of that movie is the Jane Foster stuff. So.
I think that's a big problem with what happened with the MCU. Why the box office isn't as big as it was. Is I think that movie made people lose a lot of trust.
Yeah,
because the tone is it's two different films, or
It's
even
like
maybe three squashed together.
I would say three. For me,
wildly
it's three
different
movies
tones.
squashed together. Yeah,
I can get if you like loved Infinity War and Endgame, which how could you not? They're very serious movies in general in the tone, and like it gets you invested the end of Infinity War and then the everything following it up and everything. Like if you're into the story in like deeply in the characters, you're like, then you come the follow up of Love and Thunder is just like halfway kind of spitting on your foot, like for caring. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, fucking, we're not gonna take it too seriously. Then I can get some people being like, oh, this pisses me off because this is a character I really followed and cared about, and you're kind of not taking them too seriously in some cases.
And I think you can have tonal shifts as well, but I think the three tones of that film exist simultaneously, and it doesn't ever quite work. And I didn't mind it as much because in my head I could sort of separate the tones out because I knew the source material perhaps more than your casual viewer, but the source material is better. So what you're watching is a not very well adapted story about characters.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just want to address this comment real quick. This is an honest person. I'm not calling them out, but I think this is something lots of people get wrong. So like the phases, they're like production schedules. It's more of a movie thing, and they call it.
They don't matter as much anymore. I actually remember. I don't remember who said it, but they basically said they're not really following that very much. And like that's kind of not
the thing.
Really
and you know that because here's the thing: people always get wrong. What's the last movie in Phase 2?
Ant-Man.
Everybody says Ultron. It's not. It's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
What's the last movie in Phase 3?
No Way Home. No,
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Sorry.
Everybody assumes it's Endgame and Age of Ultron. They're not, because these are production schedules that they're doing with these phases. It has less to do with story, more to do with trying to get movies set up and moving forward with them.
See, there's your problem. You didn't even know what the phases were in the first place, man. Like, I mean, and to say directionless is like they did that on purpose. It's clear that they weren't just. I mean, it kind of got out of hand. I could say that they spread themselves too thin with the Disney Plus stuff. They overpromised on that. I think Iger came to Marvel and was like, "Hey, we need you to fucking basically just cover this whole Disney Plus platform we're putting out right now." And Feige gave it a shot, and it kind of
it was a bit too much. And I get it. Yeah, I think I would love it if they did 3 movies a year and 1 series a year, and then that's it. That way, it becomes a bit more of a special thing. Anyway.
That's definitely. This is so accurate for Thunderbolts. By the way, it's just a costumed comedy. They're very good. Very good.
There's nothing
comment. I appreciate
to that one.
I want to point out also and this is for anybody that's even wondering like where my head is on this in the chat, but like what difference does it make where the phases start and begin? Like what difference does that really make? You know what I mean? Like to me, it doesn't really matter. I enjoy the movies. I just watch them. I don't care where one ends and begins. To
All
me.
that really is, you're right. All that really is just further showing that this has had such a cultural impact that everybody is aware of it outside of what happens in a singular film, that those become things we care about for some reason. And it's like, can we just
like box office
movies
numbers?
and-
Why does the average
Yeah.
viewer care about box office numbers? You know what I mean?
True.
I mean, the only reason I care is because I want,
good.
like, I care about the box office numbers in the sense that, like, Thunderbolts, it
Yeah.
bums me out. Thunderbolts isn't more popular. It wasn't more widely seen in the theaters, although I'm pretty sure it's probably, I should check, but it's probably getting seen a good bit now.
Whatever it made in theaters, you can tack on somewhere from 30 to 50 million on VOD because that's the typical amount that they make. That would
think
tell you
once
where it's at.
I think when that movie hits Disney Plus, people are going to watch it, and
It'll be
it may
number
not make a lot of
one.
money, but it will
Right.
build up massive word of mouth.
People
I'm
also
excited to show
forget
my
that
family
these
it.
particular movies and TV shows are also designed for merchandise. So it's not just box office numbers. If they make a movie that does okay at the box office, but they have a very popular thing that they're selling, they don't care if the movie made $1 billion. They don't care. They make a lot of money off merchandising. So, and impossible setups. Like I think Sentry was a very well received character. I think he's a character we're probably going to see a lot more of, most likely.
I think
Now,
the other people
this is valid. This is valid, but we, blaming it purely on, once again, blaming it on purely on the quality of a movie, because I'll keep going back to it. Thunderbolts is a phenomenal fucking film, not just like a fun Marvel movie. It is a very good film, in my opinion. And it, that doesn't always equate to box office. It's unfortunately.
And Marvel saw this because the guy that directed this is now directing the X-Men movie. So they know that he's capable of doing something. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care about the box office enough to be that worried about. Maybe I'm weird like that. I don't mind talking about it because I think it's interesting to discuss. But when I walk out of a theater, I don't even want to think about the box office. I just want to think whether or not I like the movie or not.
I mean, both Blade Runners are, in my opinion, sci-fi classics. I love the second one more, but like whichever one you love, I will say they're both classics. Neither one was financially successful.
Well,
at least
Variety
in
had
box
to-
office.
I talked about it. It's almost like I'm the one that said this before this article ever even came out. We don't know a lot of times how much money in brand deals movies make that reduce the budget of the film. I've said this over and over and over. Thank God Variety's actually covering it because I've talked about this. This is one of the things that people overlook. Brand deals and marketing is a big part of reducing the budget of the movie.
And I think this is something that people need to realize as well, because this is something that Andrew Mugler's last but one video, whichever one he did about box office anyway, is very, very good at it. The fact that these films made $1 billion at the box office is a fluke more than a pattern, because the films before the first $1 billion Marvel movie, they weren't making close to that.
No, not at all.
It was a fluke, and then that fluke happened a couple more times, and now a lot of people are positioning themselves to say, well, if it doesn't make $1 billion, it was a flop, it was a disaster. When that's not true.
I want to say in the first two phases, the only $1 billion Marvel movies I want to say were Avengers 2, and Iron Man 3, which came immediately after the first Avengers. Those were it. No.
I mean,
and
also,
I think the first Avengers film only scrapes to $1 billion. I think it was like
it's
1.1.
just over. Yeah, it's just over.
Yeah.
But I want to also point out, and I've looked on this because I've wanted to do a video about it simply because people are always talking about it. But economically, we were in a different place when movies were making $1 billion than where we are now. You know what I mean?
Movies were making so much more.
We
money.
talk about adjusting for inflation. You have to adjust for the economy as well, because that's a big deal. You know what I mean? And we're talking about people picking and choosing what they want to go see. Like if you look at the top 10 movies right now this year, the numbers are trending low. Sales for these movies are low in general. They're just not where they were, years ago. The movies sitting at the top of the list are basically popcorn movies for families. That's what's at the top of the list.
And the reason, the other thing is, the reason that box office is a reasonable guide is that it's sort of like the average. So you can use it to gauge the average, because you don't need to include the marketing, because if you include the marketing, then, as that Variety article points out, you have to take out all the brand deals. if you include one thing that is irrelevant, you have to include something else that's also irrelevant. So you can say, oh, they spent this much, they spent 100 million on marketing or 150 million on marketing, and then you also have to consider that they had 150 million on brand deals. So that negates each other. So that's why I think box office was always the standard, because marketing doesn't come into it. It doesn't come into that specific film. It's part of the studio's spend, the annual spend. It's the same with like cinemas. Cinemas base their profits on how much popcorn they sell, because their ticket sales cover staffing, rent, and everything like that. So buying a ticket for a film,
maybe not even that,
cover the costs. And so all of their money is made on the popcorn, and that's the thing.
It's saying right now that I just did a little bit of math, that the average box office right now is hovering somewhere between 500 and 800 million globally. Which, if you look at what we've had, that seems about right. That seems about right for most of the top 10 movies.
I just want to point out, you are allowed to whatever fucking opinion, as long as it doesn't belittle, entire groups of people or is just shitty for no reason. You're allowed to come in and say Thunderbolts isn't good, I didn't like it or whatever. If you're using that in the sense where then you go, it wasn't that good, cope and seethe, you're weaponizing your fucking opinion like a dipshit, I'm just gonna block you. I don't care about that kind of engagement. It fucking sucks. You suck for being that way. Sorry.
It's so weird as well. It's like, if you didn't think it was good, people are
my
wrong
opinion
for
is
thinking
this,
it was
cope
good.
and seethe. Like, I literally don't care about your opinion. I care that you.
And I think that's why things like people introducing the marketing budget has come in, because people want to say, oh no, this film that was a success wasn't a success. And we've seen this with the Chuds, how they use every
Also,
single
marketing
metric.
budget is a rule of thumb number. There's no set number for marketing budget. They're just like, estimated to be around 100 million if a movie has a $200 million budget. We don't know that. We don't know how many companies. I've looked into this. I've done extensive research into this. Harley Davidson is one of the biggest contributing companies when it comes to like putting their products in movies, at least over the last 20 years. A lot of times they will either pay millions and millions and millions of dollars, up to like 50 million, to get some of their products in movies, or they will give it to the movies free of cost, which then becomes a write-off for the films. So there are ways they reduce their budget that we don't know about. We don't know. They're not plastering that out there. The estimated budget that we see is an estimated budget. It could be a little bit more.
A lot of numbers we have are estimates too.
And again, that's why I think box office is the best metric, because I think it averages out everything. So for every penny they spend on marketing is a penny they get back from selling it to like Amazon direct or YouTube or whatever.
And they've already came out. Also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done there.
No, I was just going to basically list a whole bunch of things. So for every cost, they also get money back from the sources that you're talking about.
Also, VOD is something they factor in now that people don't realize. There is an early access VOD for movies when they come out on home streaming that charges a premium to watch them. So we're talking like $25 to $30 to watch a movie early until it goes down to its normal like $5.99 price or whatever.
I gladly paid $30 for Thunderbolts as soon as it dropped.
So that money doesn't count the same way the normal VOD counts. That gets equated into the budget of the box office sales. That's how they do that. They don't release those numbers, but the studios consider them to be part of those box office sales. And they're estimated to be between 30 and 50 additional $1 million on top of whatever the box office numbers are.
And this is not different to how it was back in the day. Studios didn't count DVD or VHS sales and rentals as part of the income for a film.
Right.
They just didn't, because it's already covered. So they've already sorted how much they're going to make off it before it even ships.
And with the VOD stuff, there's no overhead. It's literally all whatever they just want to charge for it. You know what I mean? So, and they also count subscriptions to Disney Plus as a victory for them as well. So if a bunch of people sign up for Disney Plus to watch a movie, to them that's a positive. So,
because if you really want to go into it, it's incredibly boring to do so. Start looking into how much cinemas take per film, percentages. Start looking at how much film companies have saved since they moved to digital, because now they don't have to ship film reels to a to a cinema, to a theater. They can just send it basically by email. These are all the sorts of things. If you really want to know exactly how much a film costs, and nobody does because all that stuff's really boring.
Because they hide it too.
Well, yeah, that too.
I mean, look, I don't know what to think about Regal talking about what movies are doing with money laundering here. What's Cinemark have to say? Jesus. No, nobody. All right.
Movies are a vehicle for money laundering?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. Because Disney's really big
I mean,
into the meth
some of
trade.
them, sure. Some of them probably are. I mean,
I'm sure.
Angel
but
Studios.
what?
Were you going to say Angel Studios?
No, I was going to say to be charitable, they could be talking about Hollywood Accounting, which is kind of like money laundering.
And what you said a minute ago, Eric, about, or maybe it was Ryan, about how boring. Excuse me, I just ate something real quick. How boring it is to get into numbers of stuff.
That was Ryan. Yeah,
that is absolutely what they count on for their audience, with who has no attention span, and in many cases, I would think they don't lack the necessary skills to kind of process the data that they would even be looking at. So what they do is they, they just tell them to focus on these. This is here. Look at this little light I'm flashing at you. It's the box office. It's all that matters. Don't even think about it. This number low. That's low.
Another thing is, I've always felt that the guys, if you talk about Critical Drinker, maybe not Nerdrotic, but Critical Drinker, these guys that are so in love with cinema, why don't they just focus on the quality of the stuff they're talking about and not even worry about the numbers? What is the purpose of somebody who cares about the art to talk about the numbers? That doesn't seem to make much sense either.
That brings us
because
to,
they're selling outrage. Oh wait,
right. Well, that brings us to a good point. And Ryan, I don't know if you want to lead the discussion on this, but you brought up a really, really excellent point that it's something you kind of have to think about, step back and look at the cycles of how they cover these movies. Generally, do you know what I'm talking about, Ryan? What you mentioned, I think it was
Not
yesterday.
exactly. No,
it was in the Discord about that they tend to. I think it was you. Focus on the red carpet stuff and the premiere stuff and everything before the movie comes out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
once the movie comes out.
You just have to look at Nerdrotic is particularly awful at this, and everybody I've seen react to one of his videos just gets so frustrated that he doesn't spend any time talking about the film. I mean, I watched Eric's video, and I think you had the same issue. And I've seen other people. I think Bob, you covered it as well, where it's like the first 10 minutes has absolutely nothing to do with the film.
Oh yeah.
Here's the entire history of Disney over the last 5 years and everything they've done and every little slight.
And here's every red carpet interview we didn't like.
No,
cherry
like
pick,
the first 2 or 3 minutes will just be like red carpet stuff for sure. And it's like, who gives?
Oh, then Bob Iger had this meeting and said something that I'm definitely contorting what was said there. And then Rachel Zegler, but what about Gina Carano?
And then
it's like you're talking about Fantastic Four. What the fuck?
Yeah, what does this have to do with anything, dude?
And then it's just more reinforcing their own narrative, which is sort of 3 or 4 minutes of press interviews, which have nothing to do with the quality of the film.
No.
And then 5 or 6 minutes of saying how wonderful they were for predicting how bad everything would be and how everything's bad and how people are saying with good reason that these films are failing. It's like, the people saying this are you. So you're saying the film's failing, and then a couple of weeks later you're saying people are saying this. And it's just
I have to interrupt you right now. Elam is making biscuits just right behind Bob there. Just... I can't believe we can show this on YouTube. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I absolutely agree. The last few videos that I have reacted to for like Superman and Fantastic Four, I would say at least 50% or more of the video has nothing to do with the actual movie itself.
And you know what?
Don't,
because it's all to go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I was just going to say the stuff they do about the movie is more about gaslighting you into thinking that everything they were saying about the movie going into it was correct.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, that's another
exactly
thing. Yeah.
Because their audiences have the memory of goldfish, they have to remind them. Remember how we've told you over the last year, all this little stuff, all these little bits of this shit that we've been feeding you, in a little 5-minute segment, 10-minute segment on Friday Night Tights during the nooner or whatever the fuck show you're watching, Critical Drinker, whatever. Remember all these things we've these talking points we've laundered. Well, those all matter right now when I tell you about this movie.
Right.
Well, I think the Fantastic Four's really caught them out, and which is why I think every single one I've seen review this they've all had to spend so much time saying why they were right to overreact to a story or an interview that we all here said, that's not what that means. You're lying about what the meaning is. So like the Johnny Storm not being a womanizer, we all agreed that what that means is he's still going to be a ladies' man, but he's not going to be a womanizer. In the film, what happens? That. So they all say, oh, they shouldn't
ladies'
have done.
man.
Yeah. So they all say, they shouldn't have done press for this movie because everything they said just made everybody upset. It's like, no, it didn't. It made you guys upset, and you guys made your audience upset, and now you're having to backtrack because when your audience see it, they will know that you were lying and that you were purposely engaging in rage bait.
I saw a lot of them complaining essentially that Invisible Woman, Shala Bal, did a significant amount to defeat or to fight Galactus. I guess minor spoilers there, but ignoring the fact that they were following Reed's plan.
Right. Reed's plan. Exactly. I mean, yeah, we can probably transition into the other topic from here, I believe, but like, let me find this shit because essentially, God damn it, we did a bunch of chatting in the production channel.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going on to Fantastic Four stuff now?
Yeah, we might as well. I mean,
okay.
I haven't seen it. I don't, unless you just literally get into like the details of what exactly happens in the third act or something. I'm not going to really bother.
I think we can probably avoid spoilers and still cover it because, like I said, they didn't talk about the film that much. There are a few things that maybe we might want to, but then I don't think we need to because I think essentially the point is they spend so much time defending their own false or fake or bogus opinions that they had for the last year. That's what most of their reviews have talked about.
I mean, they spent a lot of time talking about how offended that they are that this was going to be Shala Bal instead of Norrin Rad, calling her the female Silver Surfer instead of just watching the movie and appreciating that it was just a really well done character.
How dare they?
Yeah.
And as well as Nerdrotic doing his old human centipede again.
Yeah, we got another example of the human centipede without Nerdrotic. If you remember way back, there was I believe it was
it's Doctor Who story.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's his name. The channel.
Mr. TARDIS.
Yes, Mr. TARDIS. Thank you. I was like, Dr. TARDIS? That doesn't seem right. He's not a doctor. I apologize. Maybe he hasn't finished his doctorate yet. But Mr. TARDIS, excellent guy. We've had him on once before. We could have him on again, maybe. He found where Nerdrotic was laundering his own fucking talking points as news. It was like I think it must have been one of those dumb sites. It
was Bounding into Comics.
Yeah, remember that one? Remember?
Yeah. He quoted something. Yeah, he had quoted a news story about Doctor Who from Bounding into Comics, and if you clicked on the actual Bounding into Comics article, you would read that they got their information from Nerdrotic,
which he just said on the YouTube video, and then they ran with it, and then Gary like, look, he posted this article, this legit news outlet. So he did it again, except this time he's laundering Chris Gore's bullshit. If you remember a while back, Chris Gore made the claim with zero evidence to back it up, with zero details about anything, just that Marvel had fired all the wokies or whatever from the woke activists from their speaking of woke activists, Chariot.
The woke mind virus has gone too far.
Oh no, you sound kind of sick still. I hope you're feeling better.
No, it's just my throat and my nose. Sorry guys, I had COVID. That's where I've been for the past
so you're
week
one
or
of the people that believes in lies so much you'll make yourself sick over
the mainstream media has finally gotten to me with their UV 5G double D radiation. I'm so sorry.
I gotta see what's your hat. Please be patient.
Yeah, I have to switch my avatar to one with a hat.
Okay,
because we're doing hats today.
I genuinely hope you're feeling better because COVID is hell. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, Nerdrotic, as we covered last week, I think, or whatever. Nerdrotic was Chris Gore's +1 invite to. I don't know how Chris Gore's still getting fucking screenings, but somebody hasn't figured out that he's a grifting piece of shit yet, I guess.
Probably looking at his sub count and not actually looking at his content. Like,
Yeah. Well, he's you know, he hasn't become infamous like Nerdrotic yet either, so I suppose that's why. But like, yeah, he brought Nerdrotic, and as we talked about, they posted a photo before their pre-premiere screening that they got to see, which was literally days after Nerdrotic had done a whole video about how people that get early access screening, you can't trust them. They're just, you know, they're liars, they're shills. Of course, they're not going to tell you what they really think. They're going to praise the thing. Just before he does that, and then makes a tweet, which, you know, allows him to once again to praise Nerdrotic at being a good grifter, I guess. He knows what he's doing. He puts out a tweet that says, "This is the best Marvel movie of the year," which allows him to, you know, avoid accusations from idiots anyway, or to, as far as like defending it to his idiot audience, that he doesn't ever like any Marvel movies, right? But meanwhile, he goes on to his shows and stuff like that and says all the crap that he says and calls Pedro a sexual abuser and all this crap. Yeah. So,
and speaking of that, we did have a super chat from Super Jones, bro, that kind of speaks to the Pedro Pascal thing. I just thought we'd bring it up quickly. Friday Night Zero is talking about Pedro Pascal fatigue. No, the real problem is anti-woke chud fatigue. The sooner FNZ goes under, the better. Friday Night Zeros.
Yeah. Thanks for that $5, whatever channel that goes to.
Thank
but we got, you know, this is a take that I tend to kind of agree with. Straight men attacking Pedro Pascal instead of trying to figure out why women think he's fantastic are contributors to the male loneliness crisis. Yeah, you're contributing to your own fucking crisis, guys. And then this type of thing, man, this is a good meme. Whoever made this, good job. Movie fucks. Is that what movie cucks? Is that that's the branding there? Who can reach the most? You know, and if you're not familiar with this controversy, Pedro Pascal has social anxiety that can be kind of crippling in moments and stuff like that. And he, you know, obviously, so he touching someone whenever he's having a triggered moment allows him to ground himself. If not familiar with grounding, it's just a very common technique for, you know, literally grounding yourself when you're spinning out, having a panic moment. So physical touch with a person, not necessarily a woman, but in the case of this movie, it's where it's come up because, you know, Vanessa Kirby is obviously okay with it. And these chuds just think that this is basically sexual assault anyway, or that he's faking his social anxiety so he can touch people, which is like, dude, if you think Pedro Pascal has to fake anything to fuck or touch anybody, you're like, what are you doing, dude?
Like, this almost feels like a self-report to me. It's like, have these guys never had consensual like touching of a woman? Like, has every time they touch a woman been like sexual assault? Because that's kind of a tell, man.
No, it is 100%. Yeah, I thought the same thing when I saw the complaints about this. I'm like, so you're saying that two consenting people touching is wrong, but you'll go into a bar and feel up any woman you want at any point in time and think that it's just why are you acting so weird? I'm just touching you. Like it's
yeah.
These complaints are so fucking obvious.
I mean, fun fact: touching women is awesome. You just gotta get consent. You just
right. And if you're not a weirdo about like all the shit these people are weirdos about, and you just kind of like be cool with it, then you know, or dude or whoever you want to touch you, you know, generally, eventually it'll happen, man. Just don't be fucking weird and don't expect anybody to owe it to you. But yeah, I literally saw a chat in the Mahler subreddit saying that Pedro's like Weinstein because if his co-stars don't consent to being touched, that they won't get work. And I was like, holy shit, dude, that is fucking deranged.
But she plays Susan Storm in the film, which I saw. I saw this movie. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
she
it's
plays
a good
her
one.
in the. They're married. They have a child. You know,
so they
like,
presumably they have to touch like in the movie too, right?
Well, don't they? I know they hold hands and I know they hug and they have the baby. I think they kiss too, though, right?
The hardcore sex scene was a bit much.
Yeah, although you couldn't see half
the
of
scene
it,
where she's delivering the baby. I'm sure they like, you know, that's just like clever use of cameras and stuff. So she doesn't like when actors do scenes like that, they don't actually have to be in the nude. But
yeah, I don't think she actually delivered a baby.
No, yeah, well, ha ha ha. Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, like, you know, like they do touch a lot in the movie. So I feel like and you have to film a lot of those scenes several times. You have to do like multiple takes when you're doing like, oh, let's do that again, but let's see if you guys do this one. Maybe like hold hands for this scene or something. I don't know. It's just weird. Like there are a couple in the film. Remember when Game of Thrones was coming out and the guy who played Jon Snow, Kit Harington,
yes,
actually got into a relationship with the woman who plays his love interest in the show, Egret. I can't remember the actress's name off the top of my head. But they got married in real life. Yeah.
I mean, but also it's not uncommon for Hollywood and studios to ask the leads of a movie that are supposed to be romantic to play it up for the cameras on the red carpet. I mean, that's pretty common.
Very
It happens a lot. But even so, that's not the same situation. I'm just saying that having actors and actresses go out and be a little more touchy-feely on the red carpet or in interviews is very common. So
not only that, but in films these days, they have intimacy coordinators even for kissing scenes, for any basically.
This
opposite
was the
sex
problem
touching
with
scene.
the whole Justin Baldoni situation, right? Like this was, I believe there wasn't a coordinator, or at least
I think that was the issue.
He was.
So the
so
other
I
thing,
don't want to.
sorry, the other thing that's just coming to my head is that they're complaining about Pascal and Kirby touching consensually in press interviews, having played a couple. Like Tom Cruise is going out with Ana de Armas now, and like they have no problem with that.
Yeah. That's because this is a narrative. That's the difference. That's what I always say. This is the narrative. The narrative is don't look at that. Look at what we're talking about. Ignore everything else, you know? And I'll be honest, looking at my comment section, there's a lot of people that are still totally okay with just believing everything these channels tell them. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I don't want to call this
that.
real quick.
Sorry,
I just
go ahead,
follow up
James.
on this post that I was showing a minute ago on my post spot on YouTube. I had one comment. I don't want to call this person out because I want to be in good faith here and assume that maybe this person is young and hasn't just considered all of the ramifications and ins and outs and ethical considerations of this type of thing. And I hope that they are watching. If so, and if I am giving good faith, for good reason, then I hope you learn from this. Although I did call him out under that post, but I'm not going to do it here. But they commented and said, "Does her husband consent though?" And I was like, "Do you think husbands own their wives?"
Yeah,
because I mean, for one thing, like if you are a dude who is married and you're worried that your wife consenting to platonic touch for someone's mental health, as a coworker is going to lead to like raw dogging on the fucking film set, then maybe you shouldn't be married. Maybe you need a lot of therapy.
Maybe,
you know what I mean?
That's not a good wife. Maybe find.
I mean, I made the joke. I was like, "Why are we GPSing people's dicks and pussies now? Like, what? Like, are we
GPS?
Like, why do we care what someone else is doing? Maybe he's in on it. Maybe they're having fun together. Like, why do you give a fuck? Why do you care at this point? You are getting offended on behalf of her husband. Most people didn't even know she was married. I heard somebody complaining, "Well, she's pregnant. It's probably not even Pedro's kid." No, it's her husband Paul's child. Like, that's who it is.
That's crazy.
Damn.
It screams insecurity. So I mean, guys, just reconsider some of these things that you probably take for granted. If you're a younger person and you've been watching content like the guys are calling out, man, like it really, people own their own bodies. They really do. And I'm certain that Vanessa Kirby did not get to where she is as an actor without being able to fucking stand up for herself if she felt like she was getting, exploited or hurt or something like that.
They complain that she's a girl boss bitch in the movie, but then act like she rolls over and let someone touch her the way that she doesn't want to be touched. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
It's crazy.
Sorry. Go ahead, Cherry. You were going to say something.
Yeah. This is sort of about what Eric was saying earlier. About like, there's a lot of people who still kind of cling to like the narratives, or they don't seem to want to, wake up, sheeple, get woke. They're not interested. I've been playing around with a few like video ideas for later this year. And one of them was a video about that, because we watched some of the stuff he had to say here about that Ben Shapiro Superman review, because I was really thinking about it. It's been sticking in my craw quite a bit, some of the stuff that he said. And like, in addition to him like talking about the Kents and how they're like they live in a crappy house or whatever, he says some other stuff like I think it's about like the idea of Superman, and like Superman is supposed to like be like a riff against New York, like he brings like his like hometown like small American rural values to like New York. And I was thinking, and I was like, there is a huge divide in America between like rural and urban environments in terms of like how liberal people are. And this is something that gets observed a lot in like electoral maps and stuff. And I keep thinking like there's a bunch of people in rural America who probably watch Ben Shapiro and they don't like his ass. And they know that he hates them because it's palpable. Ben Shapiro fucking hates poor people. And a lot of the people he's grifting are like, you know, working class white Americans who are not going to benefit from the stuff that he benefits from. But I think I was thinking about this and it just clicked for me the other day, like, oh, they're taking him for a ride. He's grifting them, but they're grifting him a little bit too, if you think about it. Because a lot of them, like, if that mass movement gets a lot of power, what do you think they're going to do? Be good to Jews? Like,
Well,
I don't think so.
It would explain the lapse in support and views that the Daily Wire has gotten in the last, like, since Trump was elected, essentially.
The more powerful that mass movement gets, the less they need the mouthpiece. Yeah. And it's funny because I don't want to have, and a controversial figure, not repping everything he's said and done here, but there's a politics streamer who goes simply by Vosh, who did a lot of like political debate content. And
I horses.
Sorry, I don't want to go there. But I saw something that he said a while back, and this clicked with me. I was like, oh, this hits. This is so true. He said like a lot of liberal commentators have like almost a noble savage complex about conservative and Republican voters, where they think that they're like these mostly like backwards, kind of ignorant, uneducated rural types who, you know, they have like a good moral heart, but they just kind of need to be like led to water a little bit. And the thing about education is that it does give you some faith in the concept that a lot of this stuff is about ignorance, and you really can just teach people to be better, especially from a young age. If you just give people like a good education, they'll come out way ahead, you know. And I've known a lot of people who are living, breathing proof of that. But at the same time, a lot of these people are just kind of evil, like high key. And I'm tired of it, they're not.
I am from Southeast Texas, essentially the deep South. That's where I was born and raised. You guys can probably hear it come out sometimes. My girlfriend tells me it comes out more than I realize, and I don't like that. But you know, I grew up amongst and around and raised by people who I believe now are functionally evil. You know, like the things that they believe, even if they whatever warped process, they believe that they are doing. They believe the right things and moral things. They are not. You know, just based on a harm scale, you know what I mean? Based on factuality, harm, reason, empathy, logic, like just everything that I think should matter to our how we analyze things. I think they are wrong on all of it. And yeah, you're right. There are good people, and they, you know, sometimes. I mean, I guess I'm proof. Like, if there are people that are just like can somehow avoid the programming. I credit autism personally, you know. But like, and I came out of it, and once I figured it out, I couldn't get fucking far away fast enough. You know, but there are a lot of people that you know, we talked about this on the Live AF last week, I think, that essentially, or maybe it was Sunday. It doesn't matter how they got there. At this point, they want a lot of people to die, or they're at least cool with it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not good. That's not okay. I will stand against that. And I've used the old Yeller analogy. You know, old Yeller was a good dog. Old Yeller his brain got a little rabies in it. And, you know, there you go. Don't shoot people unless they're trying to kill you.
No, yeah, of course. But I do think that, like, you know, it's very like, I think that's kind of an underrated element of this dynamic where, like, I think a bunch of people have kind of been trained to think of people on quote unquote the other side in one of two ways. Like, either, oh, they're just like, they're bad because they're extreme or something. Or they're just misled. And I don't really think I don't really know if I believe either of those things anymore.
I mean,
I
if
think
nothing, those are
years,
very oversimplified takes. If there is any truth to them, that's just the most. You couldn't get any more reductive.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I've been thinking a lot about, like, because I went back because again, like I said, I was been working on like a lot of like little like video concepts for later, and I realized, oh, I want to do one about Superman. Oh, I want to do one about Fantastic Four. That's how you know some of these films are good, because I don't really give a shit, and I'm out here making like comic videos now, which is crazy. But I like the Fantastic Four because it's like a moral dilemma. It puts like the ethical kind of commentary back in sci-fi. And I was when I was getting some of the research together for that video, I was thinking to myself like, oh man, you know, this really reminds me of that chapter from Milton Mayer's book where he interviews the guy who was a former Nazi party member who talks about like why he joined the party and like what it was that he did. It was that he took an oath of loyalty because they were making people take loyalty oaths just to keep their jobs. And he said he wouldn't take it. And then they gave him 24 hours to think about it. And then when he came back into work the next day, he took it. He said like something like, my faith failed me. But if I had refused, I could have saved all 6 million Jews. Because if I could refuse, it could have meant anyone could refuse.
Sorry, let me address this because I am not dehumanizing them. I was not saying they are dogs. That's honestly, I want to say that's bad faith interpretation, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that maybe you just haven't thought about it. Okay? This is a metaphor, and in no way am I saying that people are not people. People are people, but you know, the aggressive people who are trying to literally and explicitly and institutionalize harm and death towards lots of people. Yeah, they need to be, you know, pushed back against, sometimes with violence. I didn't literally say shoot people who you don't like.
No, it's 100% bad faith. It's 100% bad faith.
Yeah,
don't be a fucking idiot.
Nobody, like no person with like any sort of intellectual honesty.
Well, also, like
that you were comparing people.
That comment is like inherently reducing the distinction, because when I said like I took issue with Shapiro's remark, it's because he hates people for being poor. That's like a very like straight up like just like anti-working class elitism, as opposed to judging people for their views and behaviors.
It's also the thing is that I think that the reason why we end up in this situation with people like Shapiro and stuff like that is they want to shame poor people into feeling bad that they are poor, and they want one of two things to happen. They want those people to make more money so they can give the government more money, they can spend more money on them, or they want these people to take it out on other minorities and blame them for them being poor or scapegoat poorness. You know what I mean? Like all of that.
Look, just because you're too fucking stupid to understand the logic going on here, man, doesn't mean that we're fucking going mask on or mask off or whatever the fuck.
Say, even Flo, do you not think that there's a difference between judging somebody for the things they say and do versus judging them for their class background? Do you not think that those are two different things?
That question is too difficult for. I mean, if this person really believes that Dane's intent was to compare people to dogs, and that was the point that he was making, then I don't know if they even understand that.
It just sounds like by their logic, like you should just never ever be mean to anyone for any reason, which is really not what we're saying. Because I think
also, how about this?
No, I'm mean to people all the time. So
am I assuming? Am I wrong in assuming even flow is a reference to a Pearl Jam song, which literally is a metaphor? Do you understand what metaphors are? Like it's no, you're just bad faith. You're a piece of shit. Okay.
Listen, I would never liken these people to dogs, because dogs are fucking awesome. I love dogs. These people
also they hate dogs. Look at the crypto thing. Yeah. Look at Christian.
Legitimate. No, listen. Let me please tell you about this, because the other day we were walking our dogs. We have 2 corgis. They're amazing. You know, I don't like to spend a lot of time with them in the bedroom as much as they want to be in here because they get hair everywhere. But I'm an asshole. But I love these dogs. They're great. 2 corgis, beautiful dogs. We were walking them around downtown Portland, and you know, generally during the summer there are bowls of water outside every shop for dogs.
Right.
Be walking the dogs. When I moved here, I didn't understand at first. I'm like, why are all these bowls of water? Oh, this is for dogs. People walking their dogs, because you know what they do with dogs in Southeast Texas in the summer? A lot of people chain them the fuck up in the yard and leave them there all goddamn day. They don't give a fuck. Like, so many people treat their dogs like fucking, you know, not even living creatures. It's upsetting. You know what I mean? Like, it happens a lot. Anyway.
Well, I think
so. Just to see that the practice of empathy of like just for, you know, dogs in the neighborhood was like, whoa, that's crazy. I love it here. Anyway,
somehow this person seems to be confused as to who we're actually talking about. We're not talking about all working class people, because all working class people don't vote Republican in the same way that all rich people don't vote Republican. The difference is that those people who already hate are having their hate targeted towards particular people by the Republicans, by the right wing.
If you go back and listen to the show on Sunday that me and Bob of the Old Ways did, we literally made an argument against some people in chat who were saying they can't. So there's a little bit of a top layer of MAGA, soft MAGA, I guess you could call them right now, that are peeling off.
Yeah.
You know, and more
For
power to
sure.
them. And we were saying, you know, not if you're a marginalized person or anything like that, you're not saying everybody has a right or has a duty to do this, but we do need to find some way to, you know, in general, the left and, you know, liberals or whatever need to find a way to hold some space for these people to kind of break free from this shit and maybe learn, you know, to whatever degree we're capable, not at risk of our own safety or security or anything like that, but like give them new context and help them understand the fucking error of their ways. You know what I mean? Because and then a lot of people in chat were like, no, fuck them, I'll never forgive them. And I'm like, no, that's for the people that still are going to be on this shit. The ones that are starting to say that Ghislaine Maxwell was a victim.
Right.
All right.
The ones that are going out there and making excuses for covering up like actual trafficking and stuff like that. No, fuck that.
Yeah. But this soft layer, top layer, you know, to whatever degree as an individual you're able or can, you know, I think you can.
There's also the silent MAGA, which are the people that were very vocal up until a few months ago, and now they're just not talking about Trump at all. There's a lot of channels that I watched that were on the Trump train, choo, 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 right? And over the last couple of months, they have silently just stopped talking about Trump altogether. They're not denouncing him, but they're also not talking about him. And these are content creators that weren't necessarily political content creators, but they still talked about Trump. They've become very, very silent. Huh?
Flagrant.
Yeah.
The Flagrant podcast. That's just the biggest, most obvious one.
I do want to say something, which is like the point of like going hard against these people in part is to stop them from doing the bad stuff. And like, I think it's so huge when people can turn around and say, I was wrong. I'm not about that shit anymore. I've known like, this is the thing is like, I know that there are like kind of lefty people who are like Dane said, you know, like that's not their attitude. But for me, like if you've ever sat down in like an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting and like just talked to the dudes who show up to those, like that type of stuff, people change, people have like journeys, you know? And I just like it's so crazy to me because like that's literally just all I want is I just want people to just get with the program, just get on the team, you know? But there's some fucking people who are never gonna they're basically never gonna admit they were wrong. This happened with the Iraq War, right? A ton of people were gung-ho all the time. If you were around at the time and you were following American politics, everything was about like killing Arabs and getting revenge and like all this like bloody fantasy of like murder and violence and war. A ton of that everywhere. I went to middle school with the guy who grew up, like we ate lunch together and he grew up and I'm not going to say the slur, but like he posted on Facebook a slur and he's like, I can't wait to, he became a Marine. He was like, I can't wait to ship out and go kill some insert slur here. That's what he said. Like this was a normal thing for people to believe.
The S in-word?
No, not that one. It starts with an R. I don't know how taboo it is to like repeat it, but just out of caution. But like it's the thing about that is like I just thinking about all of that stuff. A bunch of people never admitted they were wrong about Iraq. Joe Scarborough got a job at MSNBC, so he gets to pretend like he's playing for the good team now.
I've always been liberal, guys.
Pro Iraq war. Like a ton of Republican politicians, exact same thing. Now they all act retroactively like they were against that. It's like that novel that or not novel, but that book that came out recently. One day everyone will have always been against this, about the Gaza genocide. Same deal. Like it's a bunch of people we're gonna get to a point where there will be a moral consensus at some point. We might have to go through some bad times first, but at some point everybody's gonna look back on this and go, wow, this was insane. Because I can't remember what the genocide was, but it's this like really infamous Hitler quote when he was justifying the Holocaust, and he said like who remembers the like insert group of people here who were genocided. I apologize, I'm blanking on the exact quote, but he was wrong because people remember that quote.
Hey,
I
I'm
mean-
sorry, man. We'll just refer to him as Pedro in chief from now on. We won't say Trump.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a significant amount of people who supported slavery and it caused a civil war. Now everybody's like, oh, yes, we're against slavery, but there was a time where that wasn't the case.
Well, if that guy wants it brought back to track, I would advise him to
Armenians.
watch.
Sorry.
I would watch it. I would suggest he watch the latest Some More News video because they talk about how the Deep Space Nine episode where Gul Dukat starts a cult, and even after it's been revealed that he was conning everybody the whole time, there's still some people in that cult who believe in the cult. And
That episode was kind of hilarious,
have-
but it's
have-
so
have a-
Dukat.
have a think about that episode, and don't try to compare it to real world events at all, because that will hurt your
Yeah.
brain. But just think
Yeah.
about that episode. Imagine we're discussing that episode.
I also want to point out there was a period of time where this is a good one. If you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best color man, you won't notice that you're picking his pocket. That's
Yeah, and that's the one hand of the fucking class oppression, class war against the poor. Is there's that the racism aspect, and then there's just the convincing poor people that the poorer people are responsible for their being poor.
That's what I was saying earlier about the Ben Shapiro stuff. Is that's kind of where all that goes. Is that it just pushes them into that direction. But the Trump thing, I was going to say, we went through 4 years where we barely talked about the president because. Fun fact, you're not supposed to be talking about the president every single day because
yeah,
he shouldn't be doing something every single day for you to talk about him, but we have to because it's in our news cycle 24/7, and that is on purpose. You know who does that? Dictators do that. That is who does those kinds of things. They want to be in the news cycle 24/7. That's why he tweets every single night. That's why they do these ridiculous press conferences every single day. They do these things because they want to stay in the cycle. There's no way to not talk about it because it is literally everywhere.
Even when it's actively harming his fucking legacy, his presidency, his power, his base, like it is right now, to just keep saying shit. Like he should just shut up for like 3 weeks.
Right, but he can't.
He fucking can't.
And the other thing to say is there's going to be people watching this, and there's people that watch the channels that we talk about who voted for this man, knowing about all of the stuff that he had done and being perfectly okay with that. And I think what they've ended up doing is that they've elected somebody that I personally, myself, my own opinion is they've elected somebody who had sexually assaulted kids. That's my personal opinion about it.
Same.
And they voted for that, and they now need to reconcile with the fact that they either ignored all the evidence or that they did it willingly. And I've got a quote on that as well. The only shameful thing about being wrong is when you find out you're wrong, still refuse to change your stance on the topic.
Yeah.
That's kind of the other side of the coin of the old saying that it's harder to convince someone that they've been scammed than it is to scam them.
Yeah.
But like to that point, these people want to act like, oh, you just Trump derangement syndrome. You hate Trump and stuff. I literally have known about the Jane Doe case, not to mention his long friendship with Jeffrey Epstein for almost a decade now. And I had not decided to see him as a probable or even necessarily likely PDF file. Even with the weird comments about his daughter, I was like, you know what? Maybe he just was on a show and he's kind of just doing, he's fucking kind of an idiot. And he's just saying what Howard Stern wants him to say, right? I was granting this motherfucker some leeway on these things. That was far from the most important thing in my mind is like the priority for what we need to criticize the guy on. I was not calling him pedophile in chief. Now I am. Because he's basically just shown every action he's taken, every word that he's said ever since this shit started snowballing.
I mean, he didn't have the privilege of visiting the island. He didn't have the privilege.
I didn't have the privilege. Did you see this? Did you see this recent shit, dude? Where he's on the plane and they asked him about one of the specific girls that went on to fucking take her own life, right?
Yeah.
And he said the reason that him and Epstein had a falling out was because he was stealing his workers or whatever. For Mar-a-Lago, and then they're asking him literally, and I don't think he knows what's going on right now. I think he's so spun out, he can't fucking help himself.
I mean,
they're asking him. They ask him specifically, "Are they underage girls?" And he says, "I don't want to say." But then he goes on to say, "Yeah, well, yeah, they were. Some of them were. He stole some of the girls, and blah."
Right.
Like he literally is just admitting this shit.
I mean, the thing is that I last night I was thinking about it, and the amount of like jump roping we've been doing through different scenarios makes no sense. And now apparently they say, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw it right before we went live. Apparently they're saying that they found a random room at the FBI offices, a random room that is full of files about all of these Democrats that were in these burn bags that they were supposed to get rid of that they didn't. I think Kash Patel or whatever said this. And I'm like, they will do anything. Like, if you guys cannot see, they will do anything and everything they can to get people to stop talking about the Epstein files, because that's all people keep asking Trump about, and he hates it. He hates the fact that anytime he goes to do anything, there's going to be a question about Epstein in there.
It's the point where you think, what are they going to say next? That aliens exist.
Probably.
But you're too late. They've already done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know. I was gonna say, yeah, they just.
There's nowhere else. There's no more.
They're trying everything. That's why Tulsi Gabbard tried this whole thing about we're going to arrest Obama, which people knew wasn't going to happen. You know, we're going after Biden, which people knew that wasn't going to happen. None of these things are going to happen. They're all distractions from the fact that our government, our current administration, is covering up abuse and trafficking.
Yeah, can I say something about that real quick? Please. I just want to just like zoom in on that because, like, you know, people make fun sometimes if you're like a feminist and you talk about like patriarchy, but like a lot of child abuse and child trafficking is done for reasons of like controlling children and exploiting children and for like making money, you know, like that's a lot of it. I think people like the word pedophilia is about like an attraction. It's like a paraphilia type thing. So like people oftentimes think about it like it's the problem is that there's some people out there and they're bad people and they have like the bad attraction. But like it's a lot bigger than that, because what's actually happening here, the reason why this is so common with conservatives, the reason why Republican politicians are like constantly voting to like keep child marriage laws and shit, it's because conservatism at base is like an abusive ideology that is about exploiting women and children. Like that's, you can't separate it from
minorities.
Yeah, well, of course, but like it's the sort of, there's this old quote that like left-wingers love, and it's something like, goes something like, the family unit is like the nuclear like atomic cell. The nuclear family is like the atomic cell of fascism or something like that. And like I think you can see that in how a lot of like authoritarians, what's the first thing they compare the dictator to? A father, you know, like
they're calling Trump daddy. Yep.
It's just about expanding the inherently justified authority parents have over their children to every aspect of society. So like, of course, they're going to constantly, like right-wingers are going to constantly elect politicians who abuse people. Not that liberals wouldn't, you know, not that that never happens the other way around, but this is what it's about for them. It's like the whole thing, you know? And like abuse thrives in like silence and with lies. So like if you were electing somebody and you know he's a liar, you're running the gambit either way. You knew what you were in for. Like I can't, the Andrew Schultz people, like guys like that just run me up the wall, because when he's like, I didn't vote for this, you absolutely did, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
This
stuff with Trump and Epstein was known.
Misogyny and pedophilia are like twins. I'm so sorry.
Not
like
just
twin
that,
concepts.
but like, yes, you're right. That's true. But I also like, just set this stuff aside, even though it's impossible to, but just for a moment, the bombings, all of the stuff that he's done, that he's, you know, campaigned against. He's gonna stop the wars, right? No, we fucking literally can't wait to fucking get into war shit and back up Israel doing war genocide shit. You know, Andrew Schultz mentioned that stuff too, and it's like, how were you in a coma during the first administration? What in the fucking world made you think that this man was pro fucking peace? What in the world made you think that this guy was gonna fucking, you know, go to Putin and stand up to him? Literally, you know, whenever he got fucking elected, the day Trump got elected this time, that like basically the very moment that they announced that he won, in Russian propaganda TV, they started showing naked pictures of his wife. That was Putin flexing on this motherfucker.
Right.
You know, that was Putin saying, yeah, you won. Good job. Check this out. Here's your wife's tits. You know, like
it's Putin saying, I own you, bitch.
Right. I do want to show this real quick, because I don't know if everybody's seen this yet. I know everybody's probably seen or heard I haven't had the privilege of going to the fucking pedo island. Right. He said that. But here's this.
You know, one of the things that I deeply believe is that you mostly
Bro, failed demographic is not what having sex with children is, or covering up sex with children. That's not failing a demographic. That's failing fucking, basic.
That's AWOL thoughts. I love that comment. I want
The
to.
whataboutism for this, for this one is crazy.
I want to print that out and frame that. That's so funny.
That's crazy.
Genuinely, you're talking about like a pedophile, and you're like, what?
Biden, do you mean like the underage demographic?
Biden stuttered. Biden stuttered equals Trump having the privilege to go to like trafficking island. You know what I mean? Like
Biden was kind of shitty towards labor unions too. Or like.
That's crazy.
I'm cracking up over here.
Are you?
Aren't stupid.
Oh my God.
You mostly are not going to call very obvious contradictions. If I tell you I've never tried a strawberry, and then the next week I come on the show and I go, I've never liked strawberries as I've tried them over the last 20 years, you would rightly say, David, last week you said you had never tried a strawberry. Now you're telling us you've got 20 years of eating strawberries and you don't like them. You would realize something here doesn't make sense. I must be lying. And that's sort of the place where we now are with Donald Trump and this Epstein stuff. The list doesn't exist, and Trump isn't on the list, and Trump is on the list, but only because Obama, Clinton, and Comey put him on it.
Exactly.
Those explanations don't make sense. And another one that we are now getting to is Trump supposedly broke off a connection with Jeffrey Epstein because he's a creep. But now Trump is telling us it's actually because he was hiring people out from under.
I just want to warn all of you for your own sake, man. Like, you can't use the same old tired fucking distractions on this one. I'm sorry. It just really makes you look really fucking stupid.
It's not going away. This one's not. We've talked about stuff not going away. This one is definitely not going away. This is going to be around. It might even be the legacy of his presidency.
This is the stank that lasts, buddy.
Yeah.
Under me, and maybe the biggest single bombshell in this entire slow slide into the truth is that now Trump acknowledged on Air Force One that actually the people that Epstein hired out from under Trump, in some cases, were the very sorts of underage women, girls, that are at the core of the sex trafficking, of the abuse of the entire thing. Here is Trump saying, well, the hiring out from under me was out of my spa. And actually, it seems maybe one of the people was indeed Virginia Giuffre, who tragically took her own life in April and is...
Reggie, I appreciate the being alert on it, man. And I feel you, but like, honestly, let these guys just show their ass. We don't need to mod them right now. Let them show their ass.
Sort of a key character, victim, I don't know what you would call her, in this entire fiasco. Listen to this. Dear God.
Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously.
Actually, I'm going to put a couple of these on screen while we watch this. That'll be fun.
Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Oh.
Yeah.
The answer is, understand, Trump's equivocating.
Whoa.
A lot of the people that were taken were from Mar-a-Lago.
Some of the people I said Epstein took from me were underage.
In the spa. Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa.
Oh my God, I've never seen this before. Holy shit.
And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that.
What an asshole.
When I heard about it,
He's saying he knew about people complaining about this? Hold on. Did he just say that? Did he just say people would complain that people are taking people from the spa and he knew about this?
He's talking about, well, when I found out about it, I said, hey, buddy, don't be doing that, buddy.
Oh my God.
When he took my underage massage workers from my spa, I was really mad, and I told him we can't be friends anymore. You can't come in here stealing my underage girls from my spa. But
it's the best spa in the world because people get trafficked from it. That's why, right? That's what he's saying.
That's exactly what he's saying. I mean, yeah. He wasn't upset that Epstein was a pervert or a sex pest or anything like that. He was upset that his staff were being poached by Epstein, his underage staff that he knew were underage.
Apparently, like he just said, you heard it. You fucking heard it. That's the best. And like I said, the best, most charitable. I don't know why I would be charitable to this motherfucker, but he's got brain worms out the ass at this point. And I kind of don't think he realizes what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he realizes what he's saying. He's just
what he's saying
in and out
shows a level of disconnect, because it to me almost reads like he's from a culture where this type of shit. Oh, this is just normal. We do this shit, you know.
He's having flashbacks to it. Like he's like, oh yeah, back then this is what we did.
Well, that's why he gets so angry when they're like, why are they talking about this? What's so fucking long ago? He's dead. Why are they talking about this? He doesn't realize, it's because the thing that is at stake here, the question is literal atrocious crimes, like a mass amount of them in the thousands. Lives ruined. Literally, the woman that gets brought up here in a second, because it's not over yet. It gets worse.
I mean, this is a valid question too. I mean, yeah, they had to like vet the people that were working in the spa. He was hiring very young girls to work in what was, I assume, an adult spa.
Who was his Ghislaine Maxwell? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
well,
that
I
at?
do want to point this out as well, because I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, because I made this point about conservatism a minute ago. But like the thing is, like, this is what I meant. Like, even as we speak, like the Republican Party in America is trying to like bring back child labor. What do you think is going to happen with guys like this around underage workers? What do you think that's going to entail? Like, just run it through your, like, this is one of the reasons why I'm like so against like young people like needing to work, why we need to have bigger social safety nets. We need to have more support for single parents and disabled people and all kinds of stuff, because like this is the type of shit that fucking happens. You know, and every time you see a Republican go on Fox News where they're like, you know, back in the old days, we used to have kids working. Back in the old days, like the abuse of children was so rampant. Like, it's so crazy. I don't like
the maiming of children and working in factories was like a fucking epidemic for a period. You know, like in the early 20th century, it was just, you know, children losing arms and fingers and hands and shit like that. If they lived, you know, during accidents.
When you're taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa, I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Hold on.
You know, person, does that include Virginia Nefri?
I don't know.
Wait.
I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
And by the
stole
way,
her.
she had no complaints about us.
She had no complaints about us.
Look,
yeah, he's implicating himself
Holy
in sex
shit.
trafficking a minor. That's crazy.
So wait, he said though, one of the things he said there was that they complained about a guy taking people, and then it happened again, meaning that he didn't do anything about it when he first heard about it. When he first heard this guy was doing it, he did nothing, and then it happened again.
I just want to point out before I fucking blame these motherfuckers, I want to point out what you two motherfuckers, you fucking scumbags, are sitting here doing because you're so fucking brain rotten to conservative propaganda. You are saying that even though we have a sitting president admitting to hiring underage females, minor children, to work, do massages, and that they were taken from his place of employment to Epstein's place of employment and further, you know, exploited, probably, I would say probably worse than what Trump was doing. I would give that, right? But still exploited nonetheless, and fucking abused sexually, raped, okay? To the point where they're traumatized for life, and in some cases, as the woman that he just acknowledged worked for him and was taken to Epstein, killed herself because of this not too long ago. You are saying that, well, you know, left and right both have some issues. Find me when this happened for any Democrat president. Find me find me anything remotely like this for the fucking the executive office of the United States of America.
And the
Find me
cover-up
that shit.
that's happening, the cover-up that is happening as well.
You fucking brainless fucking retards. I'm sorry. You're out of here.
I just think that's so interesting to be to look at like an actively unfolding case of like people talking about raping children, and you're just like, well, you know, both sides. What do you mean?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Like,
I don't know if centrists see it that way, buddy. That might be a little bit of misanalysis there.
I mean, the thing to
Yeah, no,
understand
you're
is that everybody who calls himself a centrist is either completely indoctrinated to. Well, there are centrists who are reasonable. I want to be 100% here. There are people who are centrists who are actual centrists, but a lot of people actually use the centrist level to just push right wing shit.
right. Well, like the quote unquote left wing figures who are implicated in the Epstein stuff is people like the Clintons, you know, and like those people are as in the context of the political left. Hillary Clinton wasn't even pro-gay marriage until it was already over. Like, they're not leftists. Like,
well, I mean,
Well,
to bring it back to the beginning.
I want to say it took Obama a while to move on gay marriage too. Like, yeah, it's Jesus.
Yeah.
it's
To bring it back
literally
to,
who's the SNL lady, Kate McKinnon, who did the Hillary
Yes.
Clinton impression. When she had Clinton on SNL, she did the bar scene where she sat down with her, and she like they had like they made it like a joke, but like Hillary wouldn't admit that she was like in the wrong for opposing gay marriage. That's so great. Like those people are they're right wingers. They're liberal right wingers, you know?
To bring it back, I mean, like this point right here on screen, left in America now just means not far right. Absolutely. I mean, and it's increasingly become that. That's what the effect of the Overton windows shift to the right, or, you know, hard push to the right over the last decade has been, is that now left is. So I've uploaded a video yesterday, hasn't gotten a whole lot of views, but it's a clip from me and Bob the Old Ways watching Joe Rogan talk to a literal CIA guy that comes on his show on a regular basis and just feeds him narratives and shit. And Joe Rogan's like, yeah, okay, you know. And somebody under that video said, because I guess one of us said early on in the video, being on the left or something like that, goes, oh, on the left, that's all I need to hear. I'm out. Okay, that's the kind of fucking brain rot we're talking about here. Literally nothing we can say could possibly be of any value to them. You know, like I listen to right wingers say shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even if I expect to disagree with them, I'll still listen. But nonetheless, going back to the Sydney Sweeney thing, this is a good point, because think about this. And this is a testament to the effectiveness of right-wing propaganda and narratives, because that is seen as left-wing shit. People that say, oh man, it's kind of a weird look to, you know, and like we did not make a huge deal out of it. We just said that's kind of, you know, if anything, it's our criticism is of capitalist marketing being kind of.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
You know, but the chuds and everybody on the right and even the center will say that, oh, look at the left's all upset because they're saying that some kind of Nazi fucking advertising campaign or whatever. And that not only gets equated with just the left generally, including liberals, blah, 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 but the Democratic Party. And as if, you know, speaking of like Andrew Schultz, these motherfuckers, the way their brains work is if somebody says, you know, or fucking Tony Hinchcliffe, he got all pissy because, oh, now YouTube says these 4 words. You're not supposed to be able to say these 4 words anymore. Their brains go, oh, Susan Wojcicki got a fucking call from Joe Biden saying that they can't say these words anymore.
Right.
I mean, like
their conspiracy theories, the outlandish ones, those are totally reasonable and believable. But us just going, hey, maybe it was propaganda. We like, there's no proof of it. Most likely capitalism. You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, that's what I'm saying is that they equate anything that vaguely looks leftish as being the Democrat Party, which is, I think, a big part of why, you know, Trump's in power. Because that's just the way that they frame these things. Does anybody see what I'm talking about there?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah.
Well, the other thing about the Sydney Sweeney thing, this has only just occurred to me, is that they're going to go on the right will go on this narrative now that the woke left are all insane and mad and furious about this thing, when that's not the case. But just a few weeks ago, they genuinely got mad that Superman might be woke, and then when it came out, they were all saying, oh no, that's just, again, the woke left saying that we were all mad when we weren't. I mean, Nerdrotic, I think, said the same thing in his Superman review. He went on Piers Morgan's show to complain about how woke Superman was. He was so upset that he went on a very well-watched YouTube show to complain about the wokeness in it, and then in his Superman video said that he wasn't upset about it. It's just like you said at the beginning, always the victims, always the strong man.
Yeah. By the way, I'm going to jump out. I got to head to work. But you guys are going to be live for a little bit longer. Everybody in my chat, play good. They will time you out. They don't give a fuck. So just know that they will time you
No
out.
fucks given. And we'll just blammo you for good if you're doing like both sides shit about this.
But I do want to thank everyone. I am at almost 6,100 and something subs already.
Damn.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And all the views on my videos, which by the way, somebody pointed out to me that my video views are now getting higher views than some of the channels that have 100 and 200,000 subs, like Melanie Mac, Hypnotic, channels like that. So that's all because of you guys. So thanks everybody who subbed and watch.
Let's help Eric crush my sub count, man. That'd be great. Help me get to 8,000, but then help Eric crush that. All right.
Yeah, Eric's been grinding over there. By the way, I've been watching the videos. I can't believe you made me watch Ranting for Vengeance.
Oh yeah, that was
we need to have words about that.
Oh yeah, that video. So I kept hearing that name all the time, and someone was like, no, you don't understand. You have to watch the Fantastic Four one. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I was gonna make a Nerdrotic critical drinker video, and then I saw that video. I was like, oh wait, I need to react to this one first. So yeah.
Dude,
Cool.
like I reacted to
subscribe, man.
the Superman video, and it was like I feel like it's performative. It's just like everything's bad, everything's woke, and it's kind of just
I don't think it's
all dumb, but
performative.
yeah.
I don't think it's
I
performative.
go where I'm
You might
wanting.
just be really fucking stupid, and you might not even really.
Also, a couple things before I go though. And I already forgot. It's like goldfish brain. Oh no. I was gonna say my Discord is about to go public next week. So I'm adding a bunch of mods. Anybody who is in the Shillcast group that wants to come over and help mod my Discord, I'd really appreciate it. I'll add them in. But yeah, mine's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna have a debate channel. So if people want to debate me, they can jump in the debate channel and we'll be able to do it that way over voice chat, which is probably gonna lead to a lot of crazy shit. But it is what it is.
We do need to continue and figure out like doing that as well on this show potentially. Once you see how it goes, how much of a shit show it is on your channel.
Yeah, we'll use mine as a testing ground.
Right.
Anyway, but thanks guys. Like seriously, I honestly don't know what I've been doing to get you guys to come out and sub and watch my videos, but it's been going through the roof.
Hard, consistent work, great analysis, looking good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Stay away from ranting for vengeance. It's not good.
Yeah.
So
Later,
anyway,
man.
how about it?
I swear, Dadgy, I'm not a flamer.
Jesus.
For an awkward amount of time.
I mean, I know we.
It was on purpose.
I know we and others have covered him before, but that Fantastic Four video is the most. It's the most blatantly racist, homophobic, bigoted, sexist.
Have you looked at his
video.
dad's channel?
He's got the anti-Jewish remarks in there too.
Jesus.
Like he says a bunch of stuff that's like
it's crazy how far it can go, and YouTube are just like, well, he didn't say any slurs, so what are we supposed to do?
He's getting views. We'll let it go.
Yeah,
it's not even that. I think like their automation system, because it's rigged to identify literally particular words, particular slurs. If he doesn't say them, he can say whatever he wants about all the people he complains about, all the marginalized protected groups that he has objections to. As long as he doesn't say slurs, he can get away with it, and it's incredible.
Well, this is kind of a for the audience in the chat. I'm going to give you a little look into how the sausage is made. So there was a thing that happened years ago. If you guys know there's a transgender influencer named Cat Black, who's been on this platform for a really long time, does a lot of really good videos. She at one point, and she's talked about this at least once or twice, she like actually like talked to the people who like work on like YouTube, because there was like so much like bigoted harassment on this platform that was picking up and had been at the time going on for like years. And like that story, I'm kind of gonna misremember it if I try to characterize it too much, so I'm gonna pull back a little bit. But if you guys look into that, there's a lot of what at the time were kind of like revelations about what the people at YouTube like really care about a lot. And I think the impression that I've gotten over the years is that it's a lot like Twitter, where like back when Jack Dorsey was at Twitter, like the posture that Twitter had towards conservatives were that they actually had to bend the rules and like treat conservatives with favoritism in terms of the terms of service, because conservatives would like categorically break terms of service all the time. And what they came to understand is that they would be banning a lot of conservatives if they enforced the rules equally. So they started showing like favoritism. And of course, like once you do that with these conservatives, they're just gonna pressure you for more and more, because if they're not getting everything that they want, they're oppressed. Like that's how it is, you know. And it's one of those situations where like you just can't show that kind of favoritism towards people with like a certain like ideology or point of view. You have to like enforce the terms of service. But YouTube has had a really rough time about that. And I think that's what it is, because this came up with Steven Crowder on this platform when like people were talking about whether he should be banned. And I don't know if he's here now, but he was at least temporarily banned. He might still be. And like there are clearly lines that you can cross, but it takes so much. Whereas like sometimes if you're a small channel and people just report you, your stuff just gets taken down and you have to like fight for it back. That happened with friend of the show, Crimes New Roman. Yeah, just recently.
I mean, he hasn't befriended us yet. I consider him a friend in content, but I'd love to have him on. Yeah, I want to address this real quick, and then I don't know if you guys want to hang around and talk some more. I'm fine with that, but at least want to address this one. So, first of all, that wasn't even really the discussion. Not sure what guest you're referring to, because we're all just kind of, co-hosts here.
Assume me, because I think I was the
no, he's co-host. So we weren't talking about the audience rejecting anything, because the thing we were talking about hasn't come out yet, and it's actually Strange New Worlds is a very popular Star Trek show. Also, to think that ethics and politics are somehow just separate things is really, really dumb. It can be argued that politics is actually the civics application of ethics, and so like the thing that happened here, the thing that you're missing, the thing that you're not getting, is that if you are rejecting Star Trek because it's political, that's because you have been cowed into believing that politics should not have ethical considerations, and that you are part of a political movement, or at least it appeals to you, this political movement, that actually eschews ethical consideration in many regards.
So
specifically to that point, sorry,
I'm just trying to understand the politics of a picture of a Pike puppet.
Well,
yeah. I just specifically though, to address that point of it being ethical, not it was an ethical decision in Star Trek, the original, the original series, when they tackled racism. But when they did the Kirk Uhura kiss, or when they did the episode with Frank Gorshin and the color split, what they were addressing there was racism, and they knew that by showing Kirk kiss Uhura, that their show would not be broadcast in certain states in the US,
and it wasn't.
And that decision was political. The decision to make a show where they knew that they wouldn't be able to broadcast in certain territories because of the political decisions being made in those states, that was a political decision as well as an ethical one. It's as simple as that, really. How can you separate the politics and the ethics between that particular issue of the interracial kids?
In fact, you honestly make me realize this. It's pretty simple when you cut through it, that MAGA and the conservatism in general, their entire propaganda machine is designed to make people, at least intellectually, separate the concept of ethics and morals versus politics, and to think that these things are somehow at odds. When what it's done is it's created a party, a movement, a wing of political influence that is without ethics. And in fact, we're still waiting on them to release the fucking Pedonomicon, man.
This is so fascinating.
There's a comment from Evenflow 406, which actually is a reasonable question. The kiss was forced in order to try to get around the issue of the interracial kiss. The reason
Well, I mean,
it had to be.
it's also worth saying, like, literally in the script of the story, it is forced. They're being controlled by these two guys who telepathically control their actions.
Yeah, and the reason it was written that way is so not to cause scandal in even more places than it did cause scandal. That's why
So
it was in
all the
part.
white dudes that idolized Kirk wouldn't go, well, Kirk wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was for all those people that did get to see it to have a get at all those racists that did see it to say, well, he didn't actually really want to do it. Whereas actually, yes.
And speaking of Star Trek always being serious, since we're back on it, I did pull up this clip. I was thinking we could wrap up on it, but we can watch it right now because this is Star Trek. Kirk giving a very serious performance.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
He got so
For me,
angry his
that's just
costume changed.
classic fucking
Changed his
over
clothes, yeah.
William Shatner overacting. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I did,
guys.
So serious,
Sorry.
guys. So
I did want to weigh in on that comment just because I thought it was so interesting. I mean, you guys already said most of it, but it's interesting to say that like the word messaging is doing a lot of heavy lifting there because it inherently weights the comment with the idea that there's something forced about it or that there's some sort of intent to be like changing people's values through media in the way that like people who think that like, you know, some people think that like if you play a Beatles record backwards, you can hear Satan trying to bewitch you, you know, like it's that's just a very weird way to talk about media, to like load it with that language, but also like, you know, the idea that like the meaning instead of the messaging, you know, the meaning or the content of Star Trek wasn't political. I was always more of a Next Generation and DS9 person, but like,
true, yeah.
What do you think the Ferengi were? Like,
yeah,
that's that's in DS9. That stuff is all economics and gender, and even the shallow version of them that's in Next Generation is like all gender politics. You know,
Yeah.
I just don't get this. Like, that's not true.
I mean, in Deep Space Nine, the writers were very open about the fact that they were using the Ferengi to critique our system of capitalism, very openly about that. And when you watch the episodes,
Yeah.
it's very obvious that's what they're doing.
Well, also like the whole the best DS9 episode, my opinion, obviously personal opinion, but the a duet, the one with the filing clerk Maritza.
It's in
who's
my top
pretending
10.
to be,
Yeah,
he's pretending to be the genocidaire leader of the occupation, and like that whole like the series of exchanges that they have in those scenes is like so like poetic and deeply political. It's about politics and genocide and war, and it's just like it's like all politics, you know, like it's just crazy. I don't understand.
To act like other story, you want to take any classic story that's not even like televised or video media, like let's say I don't know, some George Orwell or something. That was politics, that was agenda free, right? No, he was trying to present a vision of a future that he felt like would be in some cases ideal, in some cases not. You know, that's the same thing. It's so fucking bizarre to me. It always has been, to say that some kind of messaging is forced because it shows us either an ideal or opposite of an ideal in media. Like that is what it is essentially. I'd say most fiction narratives contain some element of that.
Yeah, well, it's you never hear this when people talk about like the Christian influences in like Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Nobody's ever like, oh, he was forcing a message about how God is this or that. What a fucking stupid way to talk about media. You know, like
it really is, and it's been successful. That's what's so frustrating. It's been very successful in our modern culture to get a lot of people to think very stupidly about media. It's very frustrating, but
yeah,
you know, maybe we'll turn a corner someday.
Sorry, I got a little bit of the fire in that.
No, it's all good. Like, yeah, that was a good one. I mean, it was made for one reason, and it kind of reads a little bit differently in hindsight. But you know,
Oh yeah, Measure of a Man, Even Flow. That's
Yeah,
such a
Measure
good,
of a Man is, in my opinion, the first great TNG episode.
Yeah, truly.
Trying to
Truly.
find
And
the
really,
transcendent-
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to add on to the Measure of a Man being like also kind of one of Picard's first, you know, like, oh, that's Picard. You know what I mean? Kind of episodes as well. Not just the series, but just Picard as well.
I was going to say that I posted it to us a couple of weeks ago, a clip of Graham Chapman reviewing the TV series MASH. And he's got a great quote in that where he says, because two of them like it, it's basically like a panel review show, and he and another guy likes it, and one guy doesn't, and the other guy says he doesn't think it's anti-war, that it's written to be anti-war. And Graham Chapman's response to that is that I know that writers do try to get their own points of view into shows, otherwise there's no point in being a writer. And I think that just pretty much sums up the idea that people weren't trying to, this stupid concept that, it's only recently that they made things political. No, writers have always tried to put their own point of view in.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, you know, somebody in the chat brings up Narnia, you know, and that's another great kind of a more like kind of heavily kind of Christian coded like story.
Sure.
Like there's Saint Nicholas is in it. Aslan is obviously like, he even does like a kind of like Christ style martyrdom in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, if you read like The Magician's Nephew, that's a little bit more, I think, away from like the direct allegory stuff. But you know, there's like I loved those books when I was a kid, and I just feel like, as somebody who's like very critical of religion and Christianity and like my own Christian upbringing, and is very left wing, to follow in the way that people have been drawing lines over these forms of media, I, by their logic, should be against that stuff. I should be like attacking it, but I don't, you know. I can be critical. Right. I can be like, well, here's something that I think works, or here's how this makes me feel. But that's
still
not,
valuing,
you know, it's not the same thing as like trying to like get people to reject something because it's like putting like radio waves in their brain that's going to make them gay. You know, it's just this is very silly. And I think Ryan hit it on the head with the idea that like all writers have like perspectives and ideas that are informing their work. It's so true. I mean, George R.R. Martin is a great example of a living writer who is like that, because he's thinking a lot about like medieval history when he's writing, and kind of translating ideas from history to fantasy and that kind of thing.
I think that's also why some of these right-wing grifters who tries to be writers have failed, because people like Ben Shapiro haven't really got anything to say. They have no perspective that they can put into their work and craft a good story. Or an better example,
they're motivated by a rejection of what they see as an assault on their ideology or their viewpoints or whatever, when it's not really what's happening. You know, so that's why
sorry, go on.
It just comes across as empty because of that. Because like they think they're rebelling against some effort against what media has always been, when they don't understand what media has always been. Right. So like that makes it just come off as hollow. Isom, anything from your purse?
Well, I think an even better example is probably The Critical Drinker. Is probably the perfect example. His books have literally nothing to say. He doesn't take a political stand, and he's writing political thrillers. He wants to be Tom Clancy, but I mean, even
Tom Clancy's had some hot takes now and then, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's why his books and his film were so hollow. That's because he wants to make a shooty action film. Ultimately, he wants to make a film like the ones he loved as a kid, but he doesn't realize that all they had writers giving their perspective and injecting their own message into it. It's just he's too stupid to realize it now, and was probably too young to understand it then. Like his favorite film is Predator, which is mostly about the Vietnam War, and I bet that's never occurred to him that it's about the Vietnam War.
What?
Probably not. A rejection of the American effort in Vietnam.
So does he praise how Arnold Schwarzenegger is like one of the best final girls ever?
I want to praise how Trachtenberg is now doing interviews where he's kind of hinting that guess who might be back. Maybe in animated form only, but he might be back. I think he's gonna be back as well as
Richard Chavez.
No, Arnold,
Adam
as well
Baldwin?
as well as Harrigan. They might show up in animated form in the next whatever follows Killers of Killers kind of thing, which is exciting. You know, to end on a fan note. But you know, maybe you're not a fan of these things. Maybe you think that we're, you know, all woke libtards and we suck or whatever. I don't know. That's fine. You can think that.
You know what would destroy our woke libtard attention? Liking and subscribing to all these channels.
Or dislikes. Those hurt really bad. As well as comments telling us how we're cussed and we're queer and stuff like that. Please,
you guys should leave me nice comments about how much of a sweetie pie I am and how much you like my videos. Actually,
go to Chariot, subscribe.
I did just upload another big video essay this week, and I've got another.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm excited.
I think it's a
Star Wars we should have gotten. The prequel, sorry, the sequel series we should have gotten, right?
Yeah, it's called. Let me pull it up. The Star Wars we could have gotten, in quotation marks. And it's got the rainbow flag with Poe Dameron and Finn on the thumbnail. It's kind of a 55-minute tangent about like Disney and like the idea of like queer representation and stuff and how people talk about it. I thought it was a thoughtful attempt. That was my sincere attempt.
My mouse is just fucking not working. Okay, there it is. I'm like, what the hell is happening here? I was like, I don't think I'll be able to end the show, guys. We got to keep going.
Yeah, we're never ending, guys.
Yeah, and if anybody out there from these chat channels is curious, that's all I want. I want people to give interesting takes on movies. I'm fed up of hearing people say, this is bad because it's got a woman in it. I can't believe they changed this character's race. Who cares? Talk about the medium. Make interesting points about what you're actually watching. I mean, Nerdrotic, most of his only complaint about the Silver Surfer is that it's a woman, and it never should have been a woman.
That the Silver Surfer has a vagina and boobs.
Well, not even.
There we go.
Well, that's and that's not a complaint. You can't say I don't like this film because this character was female and they should have been male.
Well, I mean, you can,
but
there's a term for it. It's called sexism.
It's just stupid. Yeah, it's not new. They've been doing it since at least Starbuck in 2003.
Yeah, that's a classic one.
Turned out to be one of the most well-liked characters on the show for sure, and of the decade probably. So, Ryan, what do you got going on, man?
Not too much. I'm actually about to take a little break for a couple of weeks from posting videos, but I should be back in a couple of weeks with some new stuff. So,
well, you're always welcome here, even if you're, taking a break from that. Get a look at Ryan's channel here, as well as there's so many channels linked in the description of these streams, guys. If you're looking for good content and you're trying to get out of the algorithm shithole of chuds like Nerdrotic and stuff like that, there's not really a better place to look. There's even just like a Linktree link that has, you can go to that and just find lots of links to channels and stuff, solid video recommendations and whatnot. Check them out. It's actually a pretty diverse group of perspectives, range of perspectives and content styles and whatnot. Check it out. But if you're not, if you aren't into that shit, you know what we always say around here.
Enjoy the negative grift, guys. I'm out.
Bye.